What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race.
What's up? What's up? I'm watching a live stream about Ryan Upchurch. Cover up your plants tonight. Oh no, is it gonna frost? I don't have plants, but thanks. Let me turn on Facebook. Facebook, hurry. I'm watching a Ryan Upchurch live. So his most recent manager left. Ryan attacked him and his family, basically. And then we find out that his manager has been wearing a wire on him the whole time, like Ryan does. I don't know if you know that, but Ryan records everything and tries to manipulate it and make people look bad or whatever. But we'll watch it in just a second. His trailer he put out. Hold on just a second. Like, share. Ah, we can roll the intro now. All right, let me fix this and roll the intro.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome everybody. I am Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confessional on 420. What's up? What's happening? Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I didn't go live last night just because, I don't know, catch some rest. I don't know. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. We're back tonight. Haven't heard anything on the house. Well, I heard something sort of good, I guess. I think my guy's is tired of me messaging him because I was like, anything new on the home front today? Home loan front today. Thanks in advance. He said, no, we're rocking and rolling. Already have our title work back. It's good. Should have the appraisal back soon. Nothing else for you to do at this time. Sit back and relax. I think that's more like, hey, stop messaging me. I don't know. But that's where we're at so far. So we'll see. Anyways. Haven't heard anything yet. I guess something I did hear this morning. They did all the roof repairs. I got pictures of all the repaired roof stuff that I asked to be repaired. I got pictures of that today. When I woke up this morning, there were pictures at like fucking 7 a.m. They sent me pictures. So there you go. Anyways, we're waiting on the appraisal to come back, and hopefully it's good. So I've gotten a bunch of mixed stories about appraisers. So online you hear about all these horrible appraisers that wouldn't approve this or wouldn't approve that, and the paint was peeling or didn't have a handrail for a single step or this, that, and the other. And then you have other people like my my home inspector. I was like, yeah, some people were like trying to tell me that I didn't need a home inspection because I was getting a VA appraisal. And I was like, no, that doesn't sound right. Like, I probably need a home inspection no matter what. He's like, oh, yeah, VA inspectors are lazy. Or at least the ones I work with have all been super lazy. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, I guarantee you, if you're here, sometimes they call you, sometimes they don't when they do the appraisal. He's like, if you're here, I guarantee the guy won't be here for like 30 fucking minutes. I guarantee he won't go in your attic. He might not even go in your fucking basement. But he's just going to like walk around, make some notes, take some pictures, leave. He won't be here like 30 fucking minutes. In fact, the guy that did home appraisal was so confident in that. He's like, if you're here, I bet you $100 fucking he does not go up in your attic. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. So I don't know what to think. You hear stories online, especially Reddit, about like these horrible home inspections. Like like an 8-inch step, and they wouldn't approve the loan because of handrail. And then the buyers didn't want to put a handrail there because they didn't like the way it looked. And they wouldn't the sellers didn't want to put the handrail there because they didn't like the way it looked. And they wouldn't let the buyers put it there, just like stupid shit. So I don't know. But I am glad they fixed the roof stuff. My real estate agent told me not to worry about the roof stuff because I was like, I don't know. I don't want to ask too much and like make them mad and be like, hey, we'll go with someone else. You know, this guy's fucking ridiculous or whatever. But he's like, no, the roof stuff is good because now that you've had an inspection and they know the results of the inspection and it's a deficit in the house, right? There's something wrong with the house that should be there, that it doesn't meet code. They'll have to disclose that to any new buyer. They're legally required. If I show the house, I have to disclose it to any new buyer. If they show the house, they have to disclose it to any new buyer because we made them aware. So no matter what, you should ask for the roof because every buyer is going to know about that and they're probably going to want the roof fucking fixed or they're going to ask for money off or they're going to whatever. So the roof got fixed really quick. There were some other small things, like I told you about the home inspection, water pipe, and some other things I got to do when I move in that I said I would take care of if we get the house. But we're just waiting, I guess. I check the fucking thing probably 100 times a day, knowing it's not going to be updated. But I don't know. I'm anxious. Anyways, I think it was Weld John QC or whatever. I think he asked about Ryan Upchurch. And we gave a rundown of like Ryan Still, whatever. All right, this guy's channel right here is called Chad Offbeat. You can go subscribe to it if you want to. Chad Offbeat. It's Chad Shepard. Chad worked with Ryan. So first of all, one thing you need to know about Chad is Chad doesn't need Ryan at all. Ryan is not like the biggest star. Like a lot of people say, oh, you're latching on to Ryan for money. Chad's represented a lot bigger people and still does work with a lot bigger people. Like Ryan's not like the biggest celebrity he knows, and he's got to like stay close to him to like mooch off of him or something. They use excuses for everybody else, right? That's not a thing. Chad is known in the industry and works with different people. Like he doesn't need Ryan whatsoever. Second, Chad worked with Ryan before. Him and his wife helped Ryan, whatever, and really committed to Ryan, and then got a bunch of stuff made up about them. Like they were stealing or they were taking in the wrong direction. They were doing this and ended up leaving and kind of became pariahs, but never really responded to any of it. Like Ryan's community heard that he was like a bad guy and doing bad things and Be Loose had to come in and fix it all. But it seems like that wasn't true. And it was just the start of those smear campaigns that started pretty early on before Ryan ran off his friends and everybody else. Okay. Chad Shepard. Anyways, Chad then comes back. And the reason he comes back is because Ryan's mom, after Be Loose leaves, which was Ryan's most recent manager before Chad, after Be Loose leaves and just fucking cuts ties with him. So Ryan's running off all his friends, his family members, his mother, and then Be Loose. Then he reconnects with his mother. Ryan's mother calls Chad and it's like, hey, Ryan needs some help. You know, I'm sorry about the way things happened. We always liked you. Ryan always liked you. This is all Be Loose. Be Loose did all this. He set you up. He did this. Now we're finding out he's bad, blah, 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 whatever. So Chad, against his better judgment, decides to go back and help with a few things as a favor for the mother. And to kind of, he says to get closure with Ryan, right? To kind of prove, yeah, I'm not a bad guy. I didn't do anything wrong to you. You know, whatever. Once he gets there, it's worse than what he was told. So he kind of gets pulled in more and more and more and more. But not long after working there, he could tell something was wrong with Ryan, that Ryan was trying to set people up and make people look like the bad guy, blah, blah, blah. So because Ryan says he records everything, so he records everything in his house. He's always running a camera. He's always running audio recording. We've seen him, the recording of like Jelly Roll and other people inside his house. We've seen body cam footage and security cam footage of like cops showing up and of his accountant and his accountant representative and all kinds of shit, right? Ryan records everybody. So Chad was like, well, to protect myself, I better start recording. So Chad was wearing a audio recording device, a wire, basically the whole time he worked for Ryan. so that Ryan couldn't frame him to set him up for something. Okay. Yeah, they've got like I don't know. He's really into horror stuff and like horror con and horror shows and horror Chad is. Anyways, that's not important. Anyways, so he's wearing a wire the whole time to protect himself. Now, he says he didn't plan on doing anything with this. Nothing. He wasn't going to put it out. It was just to protect himself. Then, after Chad leaves, Ryan tries saying that the police sent it. You guys have seen that video that Ryan recorded of like a security cam. I'm sorry, of his phone in his pocket talking to a storage building. And he's claiming the police sent me here because they want to know why Chad rented this storage unit in my business's name and put all my stuff in it. They want to know what's in it, who took it out, what's going on. The police aren't sending Ryan to do an investigation. That's a lie, right? First, right off the bat. Secondly, Ryan's lying to these people and trying to make Chad look bad. Again, Chad just texted Ryan and said, you know what was in the storage unit? It was like your stuff from tour, it's your merch, it's your whatever. I didn't take anything out of it. I got it in your name for your business because I was your manager. Right? The only reason I attached my name to it is because I figured you didn't want your name attached to it in case somebody saw it or whatever, and it said Ryan Upchurch. Then we have to worry about people breaking in or trying to be here when you show up, whatever. So Ryan didn't like that answer, okay? Ryan didn't like that answer at all. So then he comes back on the internet and starts talking about Chad's wife. He makes these videos talking about how pitiful Chad is, that his wife left him at one time, and Chad wrote a song to like get her back or some shit. And he's telling people to go to Chad's Instagram, and Chad isn't really on social media. Like he's got this YouTube channel that doesn't have hardly any subscribers. He's got an Instagram that doesn't have hardly any followers. He just doesn't do a whole lot of social media stuff. And the stuff he has done hasn't really lasted that long. So Ryan sends his audience that he still has, those ones that haven't given up on him, to like make fun of him and his wife's relationship by putting his wife's name, Chelsea, in the comments. Because Ryan's making fun of this fucking lyric in the song that was like Chelsea, right? That's his wife's name. So Ryan sends everybody to attack him, and Chad's like, that's too far. I've asked him to stop multiple times. He won't stop, so I'm putting everything out. And Chad has not had a chance to edit all the footage. He said it's months and months of footage and audio recordings, video recordings, and blah, blah, blah. So instead, because people are asking for it, he put out this trailer, and that's what we're about to watch. So this is a trailer for upcoming series about Ryan Upchurch.
What Ryan has is not something you can be taught. It's not something you can learn. You either have it or you don't.
Yep, that's my voice saying that dumbass shit. And man, do I regret it now. My name's Chad Shepard. I'm an old punk rocker from Alabama. I started working for Ryan shortly after his career started. Way before the fame, the money, the drugs, the false police reports, and the insanity. I was part of some of his biggest songs, but of course I never received any credits for it. Me and my wife also helped with a ton of videos, from being in them to finding the locations. And guess what? No credits on those either. A few years ago, we were both pushed out of his camp with no real reason. Even though I was part owner of Blue Moon Entertainment that had millions in assets.
I've already started with my boy Chad with a booking company.
We left for nothing. Matter of fact, we lost everything. We were led on.
Hello, my name is Brandon Luce. I'm currently music manager for a local country artist located. This is basically Brandon Luce giving a good review, a reference for Chad.
By his last manager, Brandon Luce, made us think that we'd eventually get our royalties, or maybe.
Then there's a lot of text messages here. I'm not going to read them all to you, but basically this is Brandon Luce, which was the manager after Chad left and before Chad came back, the one they blamed everything on, basically saying like, hey, we can get you your royalties. We need you to get us the ability to use some of these this music in a track and do this and do that, and then we'll get you royalties on the song.
Maybe even get our jobs back. Well, after doing some digging, I found out that lies and rumors had been spread.
Brandon and Ryan told people we were fired for meth use, stealing money, and other dumb shit.
about me, but he had no intention of ever bringing us back.
You know how that is. He's off doing whatever he does, and we take care of the fucking business.
That's B-Loose talking right there.
Months ago, we got a call from Ryan's mom asking if we'd come and talk to him. I was very skeptical, but I really wanted some closure. We talked, he listened, he blamed it all on Brandon, and I took the bait, hook, line, and sinker. I saw things were looking bad, but I hoped I could be a positive light in his life and repair some damage as well.
These are back in like 2018, 2020.
Finally get a small percentage of what was owed to me back. Little did I know I was about to step into the worst 9 months of my life, and that's coming from someone who has had it pretty rough over the years. Ryan started trying to set me up early on and me working for him.
Dog, here's what you're not understanding. I know everybody thinks this is a fucking joke. He's like, oh, Upchurch crazy. He ain't talking to the cops. Yes, the fuck I am.
Yeah.
What do you think I caught Deerdorf at my house this morning?
I almost quit 22 days into the job. For the first time ever in my entertainment career, I had to start wearing a wire and recording every conversation with him to prove myself innocent just in case this fucker tried to set me up, which he did. You're about to see a side of Ryan that hasn't been accurately depicted. It will include lies, false police reports, false claims,
Psychosis,
drugs, a whole lot of drugs, assault on people half his size, and it will paint Ryan for who he truly is, an absolute.
So you guys remember Ryan's tech guy, which looked like a scrawny little like nerdy guy. It looked like he was probably like 18 years old. That Ryan claims set up. When we watched the body cam footage, Ryan says, "Oh, well, this guy must have set up this iPhone that we found, in my buddy's truck that I gave to him." And he had to have set it up because the guy said, yeah, well, it's your password. I guess I set it up because I've set up everything with those passwords. And then Ryan goes outside with a cop and it's like, just between me and you, that guy's pretty sketchy in there, blah, blah, blah. Well, apparently Ryan beat the shit out of that guy, which Ryan is like 3 times his size.
Just in case this fucker tried to set me up, which he did. You're about to see a side of Ryan that hasn't been accurately depicted. It will include lies, false police reports, false claims,
psychosis,
drugs, a whole lot of drugs, assault on people half his size, and it will paint Ryan for who he truly is, an absolute wacko. Cares about no one but himself.
You can hear it.
Without any further
in this very last audio, you can hear when he was attacking that guy.
Dude, this is
That's what I think it is.
For my upcoming documentary series called Decent Person, My Time with Ryan Upchurch. This is not intended for all audiences and viewer discretion.
Yeah, he's pretty popular. I mean, he's got some platinum records, a lot of gold records. Yeah, he's pretty popular.
Is advised.
What you gonna say? He's on drugs. Bitch, give me the piss cup, motherfucker. I don't do drugs. Bro, you're going down as best Upchurch manager that ever was. Bro, you got Upchurch off drugs. You got Upchurch to put his nose in his own business. Fix his bank accounts.
I like Chad uses all of his friends' music and shit in his videos. That's cool. Listen to this very last audio recording before it goes off.
I don't know how to be a decent person. I don't know how to be a decent person. I don't know how to be a decent. You just said on that fucking recording right there that you made it.
I made the iCloud.
That means you transferred the data, dummy.
No, I didn't. That's a brand new.
That's him attacking that young kid, that scrawny little kid. 100%. He's screaming, you just said on that recording that you made it. And the guy said, I made this iCloud accounts. And he says, that means that you transferred the data, and then you can hear a fight start. He even says something about Brandon, but...
I don't know how to be a decent person. I don't know how to be a decent person. I don't know how to be a decent... You just said on that fucking recording right there that you made it.
I made the iCloud.
That means you transferred the data, dummy.
No, I didn't. That's a brand new.
Give me your phone.
That's 100% him attacking that scrawny little kid. And you can tell, like, obviously Ryan ought to be able to beat the shit out of that. Like, the guy's sitting at the end of the table in that body cam footage, and he looks like a Liam, right? Like, he's like rail thin, looks like a high schooler. It's Ryan's tech guy, because Ryan can't even set up his own fucking phones. I don't know. Should be interesting. Now, currently, Chad was just doing a live stream. I don't know if he's still live, but... Oh, I bet you he didn't post it, did he? Fuck. I was going to say we could skip through the live stream and check some of it out, but I bet you didn't post it. Oh, wait, that might be it. No, hold on. Nope, that's the trailer. Video unavailable. So he's made it private. The live stream's private. He said he was just checking to see if he could stream. Because on YouTube, when you first ask to stream, you got to wait 24 or 48 hours before they give you permission to stream. I think it's 24 hours. And he wanted to see if it worked, but fuck. There was some good things in there about him talking about drugs, about him talking about the money he's owed, about him talking about why he came back. Maybe he'll post it later. Maybe it'll be part of the video. I don't know. I wanted to see this video. I have not watched this. You might have. This is Trump's landman Iran strategy.
China just got its own playbook handed to them by a fictional character named Tommy Norris from the Paramount show Landman, and a president that may be crazy like a fox.
We have 120-year
crazy like it, sure.
Petroleum-based infrastructure. Our whole lives depend on it.
And believe it or not, what's going on in Iran may have more to do with this guy right here than this guy over here. And surprisingly, a lot of it may have to do with this Chinese guy over here who was born a couple thousand years ago. Now, you may be very surprised.
I love how Ryan McBeth always tries to give Trump the benefit of the doubt as if this is part of his master plan. It never is. The guy's fucking retarded.
Have in common.
He blamed Democrats for the war lasting longer than 6 weeks, like he told everybody it would.
This guy right here is Elbridge Colby. He's the Undersecretary of War for Policy, and a lot of people like to disparage Secretary Hegseth for being stupid, which, although Secretary Hegseth and I have had our disagreements, he's not stupid. Elbridge Colby, on the other hand, is very, very far from stupid, although
Hegseth is stupid.
I've had disagreements with him as well, especially regarding Ukraine. This man right here is laser focused on containing China as a threat. Put a pin in that. It's going to be important later. The fact is that Operation Epic Fury isn't just about Iran. It's also about China. So who the heck is this guy? Well, that's Chinese general strategist and philosopher Sun Tzu. I actually have his book right here, and many soldiers have this little book. And you know, Sun Tzu has had a profound effect on military strategy, although he might not have actually existed. If you're as old as I am, you may have first heard of Sun Tzu when you played that Broderbund game, The Ancient Art of War. And I'll have a link to that old DOS game at ryanmcbeth.substack.com for free. But if you want to support the channel there, you can toss me $5. I could really use it. Now, some of Sun Tzu's tactical wisdom is outdated. For example, he talks about foraging on the enemy and dividing up spoils. I mean, clearly, allowing soldiers to take trophies these days would be disastrous because it leads to a breakdown in discipline. But there is one key bit of knowledge that Sun Tzu says in his book, and it's the one thing that you should probably take away from this thing, and that is to win without fighting is best. And what Sun Tzu is describing here is shaping operations. Look, the fact is that China wants to retake Taiwan. It's what they see as national reunification. It is a strategic imperative, according to Chinese President Xi Jinping. Taiwan knows this. And in order to counter this, they kind of leaned into an industry that powers the world, and that is advanced semiconductors. I typed this script on a Macintosh whose M5 chip was manufactured in Taiwan. If you are watching this on an iPhone 16, the A18...
Trump does not think far enough ahead to know that Iran has anything to do with fucking China. No fucking way are you going to convince me of that. He's mad because our intelligence agencies picked up that they wanted to assassinate him after the Soleimani strike, and that's it.
The power of those devices, they were made in Taiwan. You know, back in 1992, one of President George H.W. Bush's economic advisors, a man named Michael Boskin, said, potato chips, computer chips, what's the difference? $100 of one or $100 of the other is still $100. And I suppose in the classroom, that makes sense.
I don't even think he's on Adderall anymore. I think he's buying just meth.
If you don't live in the real world, if you don't have an army, if you don't have missiles, if you don't have drones, if you don't have digital radios, if you don't have battle planning software, yes, $100 of computer chips is $100 of potato chips. But I've never tried to defend my country with potato chips. Right? And while the U.S. is trying to produce some chips in Arizona, Taiwan is still the semiconductor powerhouse of the world, which means if Taiwan falls, the global economy goes with it. If you remember COVID during the pandemic, when you couldn't find a computer essentially anywhere because everybody bought new equipment for working from home?
Right now it's RAM. RAM you can't find anywhere because major companies are buying it at a fucking loss because they know they'll make it up on AI data centers and shit.
It would be like that. Any invasion of Taiwan would be like that, only much worse.
Like the RAM for my PC went from costing, I don't know, I think I spent like $120 on it to like $1,500 for the same amount of RAM, same exact thing.
Taiwan kind of understood this. In a lot of ways, their institutional knowledge of chip making, not their F-16s or their Brave Tiger tanks, are what shield them from invasion. I mean, anyone can buy a twin-scan EXE 5000 series from ASML if you have $350 million lying around, but not a lot of people have the expertise to actually get the thing to work. So Taiwan's real expertise to the world is the institutional knowledge. It's not the machines that make the chips. Now, despite China's advancement in electric vehicle and battery technology, I got news for you, man. Tanks still run on diesel. And if you want to invade a country like Taiwan that's roughly the size of Maryland, you're going to need a lot of gas. Hey, remember when I said this man right here is laser focused on containing China as a threat? Put a pin in that. It's going to be important later. It's later now. You know, back during the run-up to Operation Absolute Resolve, when we executed the operation to capture Nicolas Maduro, I said the operation was not about Venezuela. The operation was really about China. So is this about oil? Yes, but also no.
Again, reports from inside the White House, Trump is mad because Maduro was dancing and taunting him as if Trump couldn't come kidnap him.
No, at least not in the way people mean when they say it's about oil. When people
either everybody around him is leaking that he's retarded so he can play this 9D master chess, or he's just retarded.
People say oil, they picture Venezuela's reserves and U.S. companies trying to get access. And sure, Trump has...
Michaela Robertson 81 gifted Jame Ohio
Thank you for the
a
gift stuff.
subscription. Michaela Robertson 81 gifted a tier 1 sub to Jame Ohio. They have given 62 gift subs in the channel.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Publicly commented that this is about energy stability.
We have tremendous energy in that country. It's very important that we protect it. We need that for ourselves. We need that for the world.
Too many people are focusing on that part of the speech and ignoring this part of the speech.
We want to surround ourselves with good neighbors. We want to surround ourselves.
Trump didn't even claim this until afterwards, right? He claimed before it was about drugs, remember?
With stability.
Removing Maduro from power has nothing to do with Venezuela and everything to do with China and Taiwan. The scarier oil story is about U.S. oil infrastructure. Texas alone accounts for about 43% of U.S. crude oil production and about 31% of U.S. refining capacity. And a lot of that refining and export and chemical infrastructure sits right on the Gulf Coast. So here's a question. What happens in a future crisis when a hostile power can hold the Gulf Coast at risk with a long-range precision strike? I think this conflict is really about China. And I'm going to say the quiet part out loud here. I don't think Washington did this because it woke up one day and decided it really cares about democracy and Caracas. And I don't think it was just about drugs either, although the indictment is very explicit about drugs. I think this is a hemispheric security move, and the strategic pacing threat behind it is China. Venezuela was...
We keep making excuses for him like this. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Just get down and suck his dick.
Essentially a client...
He's not even claiming this, but you're like, I can see what's going on behind the curtain. He's a genius.
State of China. About 2 to 4% of Chinese oil came from Venezuela. And if we allow Venezuela to remain under Chinese influence, then we would be at a strategic disadvantage in the fight with China. Venezuela could host Chinese container ships that could be loaded with cruise missiles or drones, and that would make it a lot harder for us to transit the Panama Canal. China could even strike U.S. petroleum refineries on the Gulf Coast from ships that were based out of Venezuela. And so that's kind of...
If China was the issue and Chinese allies, why did we pull out of U.S. aid and let China replace us in all those fucking countries as their sole provider of aid? Because when they come to those countries and say, hey, we want to place some military infrastructure here, you think they're going to be more or less likely to say yes now that China is providing all their aid and we've shut all of our aid programs down?
How when I knew that when all this Venezuela stuff started, I knew that Elbridge Colby would be cool with it. The operation in Iran is actually kind of similar to the operation in Venezuela, or at least it has the same goal. Yes, there are anti-Semitic idiots out there who insist that Israel controls U.S. foreign policy, but what we've had is really a confluence of a number of events. Iran is the weakest it's ever been. When the economic protests in Iran started in January of 2026, President Trump said help is on the way. Now, a lot of people kind of misinterpreted that. We couldn't be there the next day, and the popular uprising that we hoped for never really...
Because Trump just tweets out random fucking things. He has no plan behind them. He has no plan to implement them. He just tweets out random shit. And then when asked about it, he's like, oh, well, yeah, maybe.
Appeared after we started bombing. And
did I post that? I thought I was a doctor. I thought I was a Red Cross doctor.
Late February, although the popular uprising might still happen. But a secondary benefit to these attacks on Iran is shutting off Iran's oil to China. China receives about 12 to 15% of their oil from Iran. And China needs that oil.
So when Iran shut down the strait and Trump didn't have a single plan for it, he's playing the long game.
Not only to run its economy, but to make all the cheap plastic crap that it exports to the world. And I'm not the only person who thinks this. You know, retired Army Colonel John Antal has a paper he calls The Strategy of Landman Sue, which you can find at ryanbeth.substack.com. It's a short paper. It's like 6 pages with references. You can find that at ryanbeth.substack.com for free. Essentially, Colonel Antal argues that the war in Iran is really just a shaping operation to control global oil flow. And thanks to the shale and fracking revolutions, the U.S. is a major exporter of oil. If you want oil, you could rely on supply chains that go through choke points, or you could rely on the good old U.S. of A. We'll be more than happy to sell you the oil that you need to run your economy.
While driving up our own prices.
And, you know, I've often said to give your adversaries dilemmas, not problems. A problem has one or more solutions. A dilemma has 2 or more solutions, each of which are equally bad. With the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, China has a dilemma. They could try to run the blockade, which would place them in direct confrontation with the U.S. We just took an Iranian container ship. I think we would be more than happy to board a Chinese ship. China could reduce their industrial output, which would hurt their economy, or they could maybe buy their oil from a reliable partner like the United States. That's a dilemma, right? You want an even worse dilemma? On April 13th, 2026, the Secretary of War signed a major defense cooperation partnership with Indonesia. What does Indonesia have that nobody else does? The Strait of Malacca. So a lot of Chinese trade goes back and forth through the Strait of Malacca. So if we can't blockade China near Iran, maybe we can blockade them near Indonesia. And that's how you ultimately prevent an invasion of Taiwan. And I've often said that Chinese invasion of Taiwan is likely to occur in 2027, 2028, mainly because that's when Chinese President Xi Jinping has told his army to be ready. Now I'm not so sure. You know, this blockade of Iran might have pushed back a Chinese invasion of Taiwan because militaries are very, very thirsty for oil. You want to read Colonel Antal's paper, you can find it at ryanbeth.substack.com. You know, my newest podcast is also at ryanbeth.substack.com. You get new episodes every Thursday. If you don't want to pay for it, I got episodes on Spotify and on iTunes and on YouTube. And in fact, I'm going to show Global Warning Episode 7 right after this episode, and I'll have a link to join those podcasts below. Thank you guys so much for watching. In this episode of Global Warning, the Marines get a new RV. Colombia gets a new rifle. India's 6-decade-long communist insurgency may be...
Yeah, not interested. God damn, what a fucking... Just get down and fucking gag on it, Ryan. Jesus fucking Christ. Crazy like a fox. Oh, really? You think this was his master plan? He doesn't even know this is his master plan. Are you fucking stupid? Hormuz blockade means higher gas prices for China. You think? Who else is paying higher gas prices if China is paying higher gas prices? If plenty of those boats that would have went through the Strait of Hormuz are now coming to the United States to buy the oil in the United States, who else is paying higher gas prices? God damn, dude. Oh... I used to like Ryan McBeth. I used to watch a lot of his shit. Now it's just a lot of fucking cocksucking.
I got a friend of mine, he gets up at 2 a.m. and he trades futures. That's all he does, trades futures. And then sits back and watches the stock market do what it do. And I'm like, no, that's not how I'm going to do it. I'm going to trade in real time during the day based on my opinions of what I feel is getting ready to happen.
Oh, this should be good.
Because of what's in the news. And that's what I've always done.
Yeah.
But I've never traded. And
you start trading. Bort is now a day trader.
Because of what's in the news. And that's what I've always done. But I've never traded. And I should be, because I keep calling it.
It keeps calling them all right. Why wouldn't you bet on that, huh? Didn't hold on. While we're talking about trading. Sorry, I'm trying to make a segue here. Here it is. Let me send it to myself. So there was a piece that came out about Trump's insider trading. People adjacent to Trump insider trading, and Philip DeFranco did a story on it.
Insider trading at the White House is now essentially just an open secret, and the BBC, they put the receipts on paper. Right? So they analyzed trade volume against Trump's biggest market-moving announcements, and they found a consistent pattern. Massive, unusual trades happen right before Trump says something that moves the markets. So let's look at March 9th. At 6:29 p.m., someone dumped 6,200 oil futures contracts. And then, 47 minutes later, CBS publishes a Trump interview saying that the Iran war was very complete, pretty much, and oil prices tanked. So somebody got paid, and the same pattern played out again on March 23rd. And last year, 14 minutes before Trump announced a 90-day pause on his Liberation Day tariffs, roughly $580 million in oil futures changed hands in a single minute. You had Nobel laureate Paul Krugman calling it treason. Also on Polymarket, you had a fresh account betting $32,000 in early January that Maduro was about to lose power. And then boom, next day, he's out, and they walked away with $436,000. Same deal with the Iran strikes. 6 brand new accounts created in February won $1.2 million on February 28th, predicting the exact...
Rated in February, bet on February 28th, millions of dollars about the Venezuela strike.
Day the U.S. would bomb Iran. But also here's the problem. Insider trading is nearly impossible to prosecute unless you can identify the source of the leak. So almost certainly, nobody's getting charged, at least for now. And of course, also worth mentioning here, Donald Trump Jr. sits on Polymarket's advisory board. Just a fun, unrelated fact. Insider trading at the White House is now essentially just an open secret.
What do you think about Pelosi doing this for 40 years? I get Trump is clearly doing it, but you haven't said anything about her doing it. Are you fucking stupid? All the money Pelosi's made in 40 fucking years through her husband, right, is peanuts compared to the billions that Trump's kids have made just this last year. So yes, ban them from trading stocks. Ban their families from trading stocks. Whatever the fuck you want to do. But we're talking about billions, hundreds of billions versus 7 million, 10 million. God damn, people are dumb. I was trying to see if I had that video still. This one.
So it appears that I have upset people. I posted this video that has now made its way across to the other side of the political aisle, where I call out the fact that Don Jr. and Eric invested heavily in drone manufacturing companies right after Trump took office and right before we entered the war with Iran, which means they're going to make a lot of money. And a lot of people are going into my comments saying, what about Hunter Biden? What about Nancy Pelosi? You really don't want to force me to do research, you guys, because you're not going to like the outcome. This is what MAGA is upset about regarding Hunter Biden's laptop. It's about $3.5 million from Burisma Holdings and
It's less than $5 million total.
$0.3 million in Soho art sales. Mind you, this was done when Joe Biden was VP and was not president. Comparatively, this is how much Trump's kids and his son-in-law are.
It's almost $4 billion just this year.
Are estimated to have benefited from his second term. You've got crypto ventures, you've got Eric and Don Jr. and their investments, you've got Jared Kushner and his shady dealings.
You can't even see it on the fucking
with
chart
the Middle East.
When they compare the two.
Trump properties, which are new properties that he's secured deals with, and then you've got merchandise, all the idiots wearing the red hats, and the Bibles, and the coins, and the trading cards. It's really hard to do a side-by-side comparison because if you just visually looked at this, it looks like Hunter Biden has way more corruption than Trump's kids. But this is really to do with the fact that I don't think Americans can necessarily compute how much the difference between $1 million and $1 billion is. So let's zoom in. That's the side.
You can't see Hunter the five. Let's round it up to 5 million. You can't see it on the chart when you compare the two. It's like when people say that Elon Musk makes $10,000 a second. Do you think that Elon Musk works harder than you do in 2 minutes than you do in the entire year? You think he's earning that money?
Side-by-side comparison. You can't even see the blue line anymore. It's so small that
it's literally this. It's thinner than the line that shows the edge of the graph.
This is how much you have to zoom in to just see the little blue sliver. Oh, but what about Nancy Pelosi? Do Nancy Pelosi next, like this person is demanding I do. Okay, I'll do Nancy Pelosi. There it is.
That's Nancy Pelosi. Compared to Trump's kids in 1 year. This is as long as Nancy Pelosi's been in government, right? Her husband trading through the insider trading that everybody calls like this. Sure, we can ban this, but do you think we should ban this? But do you think these two are even comparable?
There's Nancy Pelosi's husband and his stock trading. And also, that is since 1978. This is just this year. I want to give further context to just how much money these four individuals have made in the past year. They made double the amount that
that all of Starbucks made. The global corporation Starbucks, Trump's four kids have made double that in this year compared to Starbucks this year.
Corporation of Starbucks pulled in terms of net profit in 2025. And just for context, I posted last week about the need for a stock trading ban. I literally am saying we need to get the stock trading ban passed. Keep fucking around. You will find out. So it appears that
It's fucking insane. That was the reason I showed this video is, again, that's the first comment. The first comment is a guy named Cam, and he says, what do you think of Nancy Pelosi doing this for 40 years? I get this is clearly, I get Trump is clearly doing it, but you haven't said anything about her doing it. First of all, he has, and Philip DeFranco's called for a ban on insider trading or stock trading in general in Congress. Second of all, they are not comparable. In any way, shape, or form. They're not even close.
Donald Trump says he's an expert on everything, but I worked for him. I saw how most of the time he has no idea what he's talking about. Whether it was in the White House or the Situation Room or the Oval Office, I was in these rooms, and I can tell you there's no hidden strategist underneath the performance. One time I briefed Trump on the danger of weaponized drones that could travel.
Anybody in Congress, if they're trading stocks, their trust, their husbands, their whatever, it should honestly not perform much better than the stock market on average. If it is, there's something wrong.
100 miles an hour towards a crowded stadium, and how we needed new technology to protect our country. You know what Donald Trump said? Just shoot him out of the sky, verbatim. That was his quote. He meant with handguns. We told him that was impossible. He talked right over us, and I'll quote him again. Donald Trump said, I know more about drones than anybody. He has said the exact same thing, by the way, about international trade and ISIS and technology and renewable energy, even the Holy Bible. He said he's read more of it than anyone. He's not an expert in any of these things. So in his first term, we had to build an entire government apparatus just to manage these delusions and contain the ignorance. But that's gone now. Every expert on earth warned that attacking Iran meant closing the Strait of Hormuz. But Donald Trump dismissed them because, of course, he was the expert. And now guess what? Oil is at over $100 a barrel and thousands of people are...
Trump did say this. In 2016, he says that nobody reads the Bible more than me. Nobody. Nobody has read more of the Bible than he has.
Warned that attacking Iran meant closing the Strait of Hormuz. But Donald Trump dismissed them because, of course, he was the expert. And now guess what? Oil is at over $100 a barrel and thousands of people are dead. The emperor has no clothes. He never did. We told him that. Yet he still believed he was the best dressed man alive. That is who is running the United States of America right now, and we need to act accordingly. Donald Trump says he's an expert on everything, but I worked for him. I saw how most of the time he has no idea what he's talking about. Whether it was in the White House.
I just wanted to sink in that he knows everything better than everybody, including the experts around him. and no one could even compare to how much he knows about it.
House or the Situation Room or the Oval Office. I was in these rooms, and I can tell you, there's no hidden strategist underneath the performance. One time I briefed Trump on the danger of weaponized drones that could travel at 100 miles an hour towards a crowded stadium and how we needed new technology to protect our country. You know what Donald Trump said? Just shoot them out of the sky. Verbatim. That was his quote. He meant with handguns. We told him that was impossible. He talked right over us. And I'll quote him again. Donald Trump said, "I know more about drones than anybody." He has said the exact same thing, by the way, about international trade and ISIS and technology and renewable energy, even the Holy Bible. He said he's read more of it than anyone. He's not an expert in any of these things. So in his first term, we had to build an entire government apparatus just to manage these delusions and contain the ignorance. But that's gone now. Every expert on earth warned that attacking Iran meant closing the Strait of Hormuz. But Donald Trump dismissed them because, of course, he was the expert. And now guess what? Oil is at over $100 a barrel and thousands of people are dead. The emperor has no clothes. He never did. We told him that. Yet he still believed he was the best dressed man alive. That is who is running the United States of America right now.
God, I hate him so much, dude.
Donald Trump says he's an expert on...
You know he's currently in private negotiations with the Department of Justice to award himself $10 billion because his tax returns got leaked. They are out of court now and asking for a stay in the court, like a break in the court, to negotiate a settlement. And he's suing for $10 billion.
Keir Starmer is trying to shift the blame for the Mandelson fiasco. He admits it was a big mistake to make the controversial New Labour veteran Britain's ambassador to Washington after Mandelson had failed his crucial security vetting. But he says the big problem here is that Foreign Office officials didn't tell the PM or anyone in his team that Mandelson had not passed the vetting. Speaking in the Commons, he used words like staggering, incredible, beggars belief. Starmer is likely to make it through this particular crisis of his premiership because, crucially, there's no evidence that at any point he's lied about this or misled Parliament. But Labour MPs and the public are still going to have big questions about Starmer's overall judgment in appointing Mandelson as ambassador and ramming it through against the concerns of a lot of officials. And those questions are just not going away. Keir Starmer is trying to shift the blame for the Mandelson fiasco. He admits it was a big mistake to make the controversial New Labour veteran Britain's...
One believes him. The public don't believe him. The MPs on this side of the House don't believe him. His own gullible believes him.
He to the House of Commons after liar comment. He was told to leave the House of Commons after he called Starmer a liar during an address. This is all about Mandelson being the ambassador to the United States and not passing his background checks and shit.
The public don't believe him. The MPs on this side of the House don't believe him. His own gullible...
Whatever his vetting was. He was supposed to be vetted to be the ambassador, and he didn't pass that vetting.
Like benchers don't believe him. So does a prime minister...
I don't think we know what issues got him flagged and why he didn't pass it. I don't think we know that. We just found out that he didn't pass it, and he was still the ambassador.
With me, he's been lying.
Prime Minister, sorry, we don't use those words, and I'm sure the members withdrawn it.
Mr. Speaker, I have the greatest respect for you and your office, but I will not withdraw. That man couldn't lie straight in bed.
No, order. Mr. Anderson, you'll have to leave.
That man couldn't lie straight in bed. Oh. It's just the Foreign Office stepped in. So Starmer was trying to push him through. Even though he didn't have this clearance, the vetting and clearance. And the Foreign Office stepped in and overruled the recommendation and said, no, he won't be. Here's why. He didn't pass this vetting process.
Phil Brittle.
One believes him. The public don't.
So we're going back to phone bans, it seems like.
There's
at least
69
in
people
England.
living in the Peter Bedford Trust housing, which is on a long lease from Clarion. I know many of them very well because I live very nearby, and I'm quite shocked that Peter Bedford are now being told to hand the lease back to Clarion.
I was just seeing what their top stories were on this channel.
Whom I cannot get a straight answer on the simple question, well, two simple questions. One, why are you taking the lease back? And secondly, are you going to sell the buildings or are you going to repair them? Both Clarion and Peter Bedford have assured me that they will do everything they can to make sure that they are housed. I think we need to recognise that this community has kept each other going for a very long time, and it is devastating for them and actually devastating for a lot of people in the area. I'm very disappointed with the answers, or non-answers that I had for Clarion, which is why I raised the issue today in a debate on youth homelessness in the House of Commons, and I will now be referring the whole issue to Matthew Pennycook, who's the minister, and ask him what he can do to get some straight answers out of Clarion. There's 69 people.
Graduates are facing a rise in student loan repayments, and the poorest areas will be hit the hardest. The rise will cost the average graduate.
And debt forgiveness is gone, right? They're trying to pay. Actually, the Trump administration fucked up the programs that a lot of VA people that had fallen behind on their loans, VA home loan recipients, veterans that had bought loans, they got rid of a bunch of the programs they used to get back on track, and they're probably going to be losing their homes.
A total of £509 between 2027 and 2029. This is because of Labour's decision to freeze the repayment threshold for Plan 2 loans instead of increasing it in line with inflation. But some areas are affected worse than others. Some people will see their loan repayments increase by more than 30% due to the stealth tax announced in the budget. Borrowers in the Northeast and Wales.
It is the duty of the Prime Minister to ensure he is telling the truth, or does the ministerial code not apply to him? I'm only holding the Prime Minister to the same standard to which he held others. On the 26th of January 2022, the Right Honourable Gentleman said to a previous Prime Minister at this dispatch box, if he misled the House, he must resign. Does he stand by those words, or is there one rule for him and another for everyone else? It is the
Mr.
Speaker, I know many members across the House will find these facts to be incredible.
I like watching the Parliament in the UK.
To that, I can only say they are right. It beggars belief that throughout the whole timeline of events, officials in the Foreign Office saw fit to withhold this information from the most senior ministers in our system in government. Mr. Speaker, I know...
Damn. They're not letting Starmer off easy, are they? Oh, I wonder if this works now. Hold on. Okay, it's on my notifications now. Is it still private? Ooh. Ryan Upchurch stuff. We'll have to skip around. It's like 30 minutes. I'm not watching it all.
Hey, yeah, he's doing
I want to see what more information he gives out about Ryan's drug use.
Yeah, Adam's in the trial.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's all good. This is a trial run. I'm going to delete this anyway. I'm just trying to make sure that this is working. I had a 24-hour period where I couldn't do anything at all. So now 9 months. Right at 9 months. If you guys have a couple questions, I might take a couple questions. Like, realistically, I'm going to delete this. So, how long were you Ryan's manager? 9 months. Right at 9 months. I was with Ryan since the start of his career after a second show, which would have been 2015, 2016, somewhere in that time frame.
After his second show.
I worked with him, got pushed out for a couple years, and came back for 9 months.
I like how they all laugh and a fucking emote or whatever you want to call it.
In the box. So no, there was no NDA sign. I absolutely did not sign an NDA.
Or all the like, it's almost like a sitcom where like something scandalous comes out and they're like, oh, like you can hear all of them in the background.
If any NDA was produced, it would be.
We can't even get our fucking representatives to show up. They're all voting by proxy and shit.
False. I did not sign one. What?
Taking another vacation.
Hey, can you move that to the left a little?
Like tilt it.
Yeah, just tilt it.
All right, let me know when.
That's perfect. Do you think that was good?
Yes.
All right. Hey, just tell Adam to sit in the car. You come hang out. I'm doing a live. I'm about to be off. All right. So, so no NDA sign. I subscribed. Appreciate your honesty. What is it? So my hope with this whole thing is not only vindicate myself, but to vindicate other people that are deserving to be vindicated.
I like his shirt. Look at his Ryan shirt. I'm going to buy merch if that's available.
Of them that didn't deserve what they got. So that's the main thing. So I know a lot of people are asking like, hey, when are you going to put it out? When are you going to put it out? But you don't understand, it's a lot. I mean, it's, well, I got 1, 2, 3 hard drives I have multiple copies of, a couple cell phones. It's a lot of work. So my team is super small. So you guys just got to be patient with me. I'm going to try to have something out, in the next 7 days or less. Originally I said 2 weeks.
It's just him, his wife. They're still working full time, and 2 of his friends are helping him edit all this stuff together, I think.
But you guys have been blowing me up. So I'm trying to do all I can to do it, but I also want to take the time and make sure, there's some cell phones. Why are you waiting to release what you have? So the main reason I'm waiting to, hey, what's up, Jake? Can you grab me apple juice? The main reason I'm waiting to release what I have is because I'm not super fast at editing. I'm also working and doing other things. Ryan's not my only gig. I do events, I do other things like that. My wife do things like that. So I'm literally.
I think he might be involved in the planning of HorrorCon.
Devoting every bit of my time to this thing, day in and day out. So you guys are gonna have to be patient. I promise it'll be worth the wait. But that's about all I can say. Definitely glad you have the proof to save yourself from the delusion. Yeah, that's the thing, man. You'll just have to wait and see. That's about all I'm going to say. See, it's time that a lot of people realize something is wrong. It's clearly visible. He's on something. They're schizophrenic. I'm going to let you form your own opinion. I'm just going to show you what I got. And you got to realize a lot of this stuff I'm going to show you is stuff that he made me film, or stuff that he sent me personally. A lot of the stuff that I have to protect myself was to protect myself. I'm not trying to hurt anyone else. I'm not trying to go after anyone else. This is all about me and Ryan. What's that? Yeah. Let's see, wasn't you also Tyler Simmons man from Alabama? We worked with Tyler Simmons briefly. Let me rephrase my question. How much money has been offered or given to you? So this isn't about money. There's no amount of money. I don't care about the fucking money. I don't want any money. This isn't about money. I know some of you guys have asked about buying t-shirts. I'm not going to sell t-shirts. I have these shirts made specifically to wear while I do content. I'm literally not doing anything different than Ryan has done for his entire career.
Damn it, I wanted to shirt.
Back to him in a way that's not, that he's not going to like. But I tried. I really tried. I sent a respectful message, and I tried to just, walk out of the scenario and be done with it and do my own thing like I've done before. And then I wake up to him harassing my family, having people come to my house, going through my fucking mail, and, everything's documented. So, it's not about money. There's no amount of money. I don't give a fuck about the money. There's that.
There's no amount of money that'll give us the last decade of our life.
Yeah, there's no amount of money. Exactly. Like I came from a punk rock background. I've been broke so many times. Like honestly, some of the happiest days of my life were touring on the road with bands in 2013. I did over 130 dates. My wife went on a lot of those tour dates. It's not about money to me. I don't care about the money. What this is about is trying to put a stop to him doing this to anyone else in the future. That's literally what this is about. So I don't care. I don't care what if they came at me and said I want to give you this or that. I don't want nothing.
Oh God, somebody spotted a pentagram in the background.
Literally don't want anything.
Ryan is trying to tell people that it's a government psyop, that there are people in his Instagram comments calling him out for being a crackhead and saying, you need to get help, you need to go to therapy, you need rehab. He's saying that's a government psyop because all of his real fans disappeared and someone put in all these fake fans that are calling him out now.
I'm not going to sell these shirts. It might get to a point if I keep having people hit me up, I'll just send people the artwork for free, and they can make their own damn shirt. Down you through Jim Bob. Yeah, so what you're referring to, talking about the money, what I was referring to is...
There's also a very weird thing in this video. Okay, he's drinking an apple juice out of like one of those little containers that kind of looks like an apple, or at least it's round. I used to drink pomegranate juice like that. I really, really, really like pomegranate juice. Anyways, he finishes this drink, and then you just watch what he does with the bottle.
The money that I was owed after I left, I'm never going to get that back. I literally went and spent $1,000 of my own money to catch his storage locker up so he wouldn't lose all his stuff. I'm never going to see that back, and that's fine. I don't care about that either. I'm way past that. I'm way past that. Please don't let people scare you into not showing you. That's not going to happen. We've taken all the precautions we needed to. I'm not a gangster. I don't live by street code, none of that shit. I live by my family code. My family means the most to me, and I don't care. Like, I'm going to do the right thing. If someone shows up to where I'm at and tries to scare me, it's not going to be good for them. I'm going to immediately do the right thing. I'm going to call the police. I don't care. I'm not a gangster. I'm not that. I'm a family guy with people. I care about the people I love. I care about my friends, and I tried to do right by him, and it bit me in the ass, time and time again. So really, I'm gonna take a couple more questions off here. I just want to make sure I can do this. The next time
I fucking love pomegranate juice is expensive. Like you figure it out by like the gallon compared to like gas and milk and shit. But man, it's good.
It'll be in 4K with cinema lighting. It's gonna look a whole lot different with a professional microphone.
Oh, that's what Jamie just said.
I can tell you as far as the documentary, as far as the first episode, because it's gonna be a season. I mean, I don't know. There's so much stuff out there that I have, and since I started this, I've had several people reach out, that were scared to say things. So I don't know how long this can go, but I'm gonna do my best, and that's all I can. I give you guys. You have to be patient with me, but I do appreciate it. All you can do is give 100%. You tried a second time to help. You're a good person to even give them a second chance. I remember you at Ryan's back with y'all first started off chat. I can't wait for your series on Old Edward. It's about time. They're going quick. I can't read them all. If you see anything.
By the way, when B-Loose first left and like Chad was the only person helping him, Ryan had nothing but praise for Chad. But Ryan has to turn on everybody around him, right? He has to make everybody else the bad guy because he's really the bad guy, but he can't put that out.
Thank you. I mean,
I'll be honest with you guys. Like, there was a time where a few years ago where Ryan could do this to someone and ruin their career, ruin their family, cause their kids damage. Especially if they went to a country school. A lot of things could happen. But that time is coming. Going. I actually have gained 600 or 700 followers since this. I was really anticipating a lot of hate. Like when I went back to work for Ryan, I got a couple death threats just for associating myself again with him. So this isn't anything new. I'm going to stand, and there's nothing that's going to stop me.
So somebody asked about why they haven't signed a judge order to have them Cheating County Police and stuff. Just that's a 6404 hold.
Yeah.
Familiar with those through the process of those.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll also
Oh, I'm looking for a comment. Someone's calling out someone named Meg for defending Ryan. I wanted to see what they said. I actually don't see it.
6404 hold will do is hold him for a mandatory 72-hour evaluation, and he can leave on his own recognizance after that. I mean, that's unfortunately there's not much you can do after that 72-hour hold, and I think it would be an ill-spent 72 hours.
Yeah, I promise you, I tried. You don't have to believe me. You'll see it. You'll see. I definitely tried. The audio that you heard at the end of the trailer. Yeah.
I mean, that's unfortunate.
So they're asking why don't they get why does somebody get Ryan help?
Not much you can do after that 72-hour hold, and I think it would be an ill-spent 72 hours.
Yeah,
and he's basically saying, you know, you can put somebody in for 72 hours. That's it.
Shoot, I tried. You don't have to believe me. You'll see it. You'll see. I definitely tried. The audio that you heard at the end of the trailer, I wasn't there that night when that happened. Like, I would have not let that happen. I would have not. I talked to the guy, I want to name him after the fact, and damn near was in tears when I heard it. And I don't care if that makes me a pussy or whatever anybody wants to say, but it really did have an effect on me. And it
had an effect on him.
Yeah.
Trauma's a real fucking
Yeah.
thing, and the shit that people have gone through in their lives, like, we've all been through some shit. And sometimes, like, I know there are some people who are like, oh, that's nothing.
Keep your eye on that apple juice bottle.
But sometimes being physically assaulted is like, that's enough.
Yeah.
That should be enough for you to no longer feel safe,
Yeah.
no longer want to work for somebody.
especially by someone 3 times your size. So
But there was one. What is the reason you're speaking up now?
the reason I'm speaking up now is because I tried to leave and he started attacking my family, having people come to my house. You know, when you go out and say those things, and I have children, I'm not going to say where they live, but they live states away, and they were being harassed at school. When someone throws up that, you know, their dad is a thief of the storage locker, that's just absolutely not true. There's no truth to it. I mean, and you'll see. I'll prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that there was no truth to it. If there was even a sliver of truth, don't you think I would have already been picked up? And that's the thing. Like, he'll go as far as tell authorities, but I don't even know if I need to check and see if he actually filed a police report. Because if he did, that's false report. That's another false report to add to the many that he's already done. So to answer your question, if he went online and just talked shit about me, he threw my record from when I was in my early 20s up, and it's true. I'm not disputing that. But I've never hit that. Like, I've had to work twice as hard throughout my life because I made a bad decision in my 20s. I've had to prove myself twice as hard to show my character and my integrity and what I was about. And for the last 8 months or so, I've hired lawyers. I'm at the pardon process. You know, like, he was supposed to write a letter of recommendation. Let me tell you, I've had ex-DEA agent write a letter of recommendation, ex-Memphis Police Department officer write a letter of recommendation. I've had all these great recommendations. He tried to take that little thing he knew about me that I've never hid from anybody and make it out like, look, he's a thief, he did this with a storage locker. It's the dumbest shit. It literally is. So that, to answer your question, if he would have just talked about me and done all that, I would have just went on about my life. But when you bring my family into it, and then when I go and I ask you to not do it, and then you still keep sending voice memos to my phone to antagonize, and then you have other people antagonize, and you have other people send threats to me, and you do all that, like, yeah, I promise you, you do not. I'm not scared, okay? Like, I've been bullied before, and if anything, at the end of the day, I want my kids to look up and say my dad's going to stand up and be a man of his word and believe in what he says. And I don't go around. I try to treat everybody with love and respect. I love and care about people from all walks of life. Another constant hang up with Ryan is all the racist shit. You know, I've got a lot of people in my life that are of different colors, different races. I've got people in my family that are, you know, that are different races. And there for a while, he got to the point where he was filtering that stuff out from me, but it just got so bad it didn't even matter anymore. But I don't stand for that shit. I want to separate myself as far away from that shit as possible.
I literally covered up my Creek Squad tattoo once he started coming out with the Nazi shit and the guitar that he had and stuff.
Yeah, and part of this documentary, I've got a Creek Squad tattoo by this bag on my calf. I'm probably gonna have that bitch either cut off or burn off, because that's how much hatred I have. I don't even want to wear that shit.
Hey, I do want to have one. So there's a comment that said you were told me hate on me 5 years ago because I was calling up church out, and I want to, I don't know who, which of you, whatever. I mean, we really did try to stay out of any kind of like trolling or whatever, but, you know, to anybody that we may have heard.
All right, he just finished the apple juice.
Or been in an argument or whatever because of Ryan, like, in defense of him. 5 years ago, he was a different person.
Yeah.
And he's a lot closer to the person that we cared about in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I absolutely want to apologize to him now that we may have hurt.
Did you see that? As soon as I was watching the live stream, I'm like, what the fuck? Was he cataloging evidence? What the fuck just happened, dude? Why the fuck would you... What? A brand new Ziploc bag. And he does it right in front of the camera. He like fucking gets that shit open, puts that shit, seals it up, and sets it, everything right in front of the camera. What the fuck? Is that like some weird OCD shit maybe? Or... Like, it, even if you're going to save it and like refill it, it's got a fucking lid. What the fuck? Like, we have really good spring water at the campground. So I have like a couple water bottles. Like, I bring in a new water, like this one, home every once in a while. Most of the time I just like take my empty water bottle, set it by the sink, rinse it out, and put like the spring water back in it and just drink that when I'm at the house. That way I don't have to have cases and cases of water at the house like I do at the office. Because the water at the office fucking sucks. But I wouldn't put it in a Ziploc bag.
Yeah, and here's the thing about I stay away from the internet drama. I do my own thing. You know, Ryan's like really low tier celebrity compared to most of the celebrities we work with. You know, I don't know how much digging you guys done on us, but if you do, you'll see. Like he's a successful musician. But we've worked with a lot of others. He's like low tier. I've already had several job offers, but I'm fully focused on this project, and I'm going to see it all the way through. I don't know where I was going with that, but what I was going to try to say is back in the day, there's some people, there were so many times I had fans that would hit me up that were coming to Nashville. There were times I let people take my motorcycle out. Like, I was super thankful for the fact that the fans pretty much gave us all careers. So I always tried to show love when I could. If you ever met me at a show, I tried to treat you with love and respect. There were times, you know, we tried to go the extra mile for people. And if you met me in person, and I guess the main message I want to convey to all of you guys is it's okay to like someone's music and like their art, but not really like them as a person. And I know it sucks sometimes. There's several bands that I really care about, and then kind of find out some of the people, the lyrics that they wrote that I literally felt in my heart. And to find out what kind of people they were, you know, it really does kind of mess this thing up. It's okay to like their art and not like them as a person. You know, at some point, you've got to say, well, damn, is it possible that 150, 200, I don't know how many people's band are wrong? You know, but the thing is, I saw it coming, and I had to take measures to protect myself because I was being tried to be set up time and time again.
Hey, Norma Jean 711 said, why did you go back, Chad? You see if you're a smart man and learn lessons in life. So if you know he burned you once, did you say, why did you go back?
That is a very good question. And
somebody asking why he actually went back to Ron.
To be completely honest, I don't want to put this person on blast, but there was someone in his family, I'm trying to word this because I still care about some that we truly care about.
You know, we were made to believe
his mom.
That it wasn't Ryan's doing why we were gone the first time.
He blamed it all on B-Loose. I mean, that's the truth. When I initially went back and talked to him, I literally had no, what's the word I'm looking for, baby?
I hope B-Loose comes back out from disappearing and is part of this documentary, which I don't know. B-Loose and Chad probably don't get along because B-Loose apparently convinced Ryan that these were bad people and to get rid of them.
I didn't have any. I wasn't anticipating work for him. I had
his wife.
Your life out. We already were doing things.
You went for
Chelsea.
I went for closure.
Sure.
I went for closure. We gave it 10 years, close to 10 years, 8 years at that point, 9 years, whatever it is, 2015, 2016, wherever we're at, of our life, and we built something up, and we left with nothing, and I needed closure. That was literally what I was going for, and then it turned into him hitting me up, wanting me to come help him with some recording thing. I was still working full time and doing other film stuff, and then it developed into what it did, and I can't really give you an explanation. I fucked up, man. I mean, really, at the end of the day, whenever I left the first time, it was not this bad. It was not this bad, but also you got to think, I wasn't spending the same kind of time with him day in and day out, staying at his house, you know, so he could feel, you know, protected, and I didn't get to see this side of it, and I really did fault. And you're going to see as you watch this, I really feel it's going to convey the extent that we went to try and fix things, and it got to a point where nothing we said fucking mattered. And I knew that if I just quit, it was going to be way worse than getting fired. So I just kept doing my job, doing what was asked of me, but it got so bad where I couldn't no longer morally be a part of it. So I sent a respectful resignation. Say, come on, dude, be honest, don't put on for the internet. I thought you just said you was an internet dude. I really don't know what that means. I have been doing, like, you guys can look into this, man. We've had a ton of stuff on the internet over the years. This is really my first, I've had YouTube channels. I think it's the first time I've ever gone live on a YouTube channel. We used to go live on Facebook to sell things, but.
And on it said, Chief Earl comments that you and Murphy both went back for quote unquote closure. The initial conversation was for the closure because we never anticipated getting kind of jobs back or anything. And then it was portrayed that all these awful things had happened because of all these other people, and we were asked for help to get things back on track. And then it just kind of evolved from there.
Everything good? All good. All right, thank you, brother.
It evolved to being Chad asked to be manager, but for the longest.
By the way, I don't know if you guys noticed, but a guy came in the door wearing a ski mask, holding a shotgun, and Chad's like, "Hey man, will you hand me an apple juice?" Now that guy's just chilling in the background in a full ski mask.
Time, what you guys don't know is that Chad and I did run a lot of the stuff in the background. You know, I did all of the merchandising, and we did all of the booking.
That's who gave him the apple juice. I wasn't going to bring it up. I was going to see if anybody noticed, but a guy in a ski mask holding a shotgun is the one who served him apple juice.
A lot of the behind the scenes stuff that was done was us. So we figured it would be really easy this time to get back on track. And
I saw a chain smoking motherfucker, dude. This is his third cigarette.
Propelling forward, and that just, you know, when you find out what the root of the problem actually is, and there's nothing you can do to change it, that's it.
Says, damn, Brian got y'all scared as fuck. No, I'm not scared as fuck, but I'm always gonna take measures to protect the people I care about. So is that guy in a ski mask? I'm not trying to bring anybody that works for us into this, you know, because they have families and stuff too. But when people make threats to me, I'm gonna take that very seriously, and I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do because I do have kids and I have a family. The truth is, if Ryan runs up on me in public, I'm in Cheatham County. I go to all the places he goes to. I go drink coffee at the dip like he just goes to drink coffee. I go all the places he goes. If he sees me in person, he's not gonna say shit because I've been there when he saw other people in person. So I'm not worried about that. But if people are calling, texting, and I'm hearing through the grapevine that they're, you know,
it'd have to be more. Ryan's a pussy, right? He'll like lean on that tiny little tech kid he does or whatever, but he's had multiple chances to confront people in public. It's a small town they all live in. You'd be more concerned about one of Ryan's fans getting hopped up, believing some shit he put on his Instagram story, and then showing up at your house for Ryan, like a fucking whatnot type deal.
People are making threats, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to protect my family. And I don't care what anybody says about that. You're not in my situation. You're not me. I'm a 44-year-old man. And
so apparently he told his employees to wear ski masks.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. It's okay. Look, I knew when I did this I was going to be hated, you know. But I don't care. The only thing that matters to me is the people around me and how they feel about me and how they feel about my character. And this internet shit, like for him, this is a reality show. We're all characters, you know. But it does have real life results. I'm not doing anything different. You know, we're just doing exactly what he's done for so long. do you accept Jesus? So I saw a lot of comments about that. So just kind of, I was raised Pentecostal. I still have like some of my best friends. One of my best friends is a minister. He's a Christian minister. I'm not religious at all. I do respect what people believe, and I'm into horror movies, and I like, you know, if you can see the background, I've got, you know, Friday the 13th thing up and some Texas Chainsaw Massacre masks and stuff like that. So as far as a higher power, I do believe in a higher power. I think that when a lot of people get together, and whether it be through prayer or meditation or whatever it is, and they focus on one thing, like miraculous things can happen, I do believe in that. And I respect what you believe in. If you had to bag to throw away in the bottle that's in the bag, y'all are low IQ. I'm not even sure. Are you talking about the apple juice thing? That's just meant for one person. This right here is literally just meant for one person, and they'll know exactly what that means. They're not gonna be sleeping tonight, I'll tell you that, if they watch this. Just want to see the proof.
So it is the fuck with Ryan. That's meant for one person. They won't be sleeping tonight if they watched it. It is meant for Ryan then, right? I had started the show before this ended, so I didn't see that part. So it is the fuck with Ryan? Because I know Ryan bags everything in Ziploc bags. Like, he does cell phones and evidence and cups and cigarette butts. And remember when he said that they showed up with an Amazon Fire Stick and deleted all his cameras? And then he comes in his house, he's like, I smell diesel fuel. Who drives a diesel truck? Or whatever.
For the drugs, because he's always, well, I mean, guys, I mean, in the trailer, I posted the video he sent to me about thinking of getting him off the drugs, you know, prior to getting back on the drugs. So I don't know any other way that you hear it from his mouth and you still don't believe it. To me about thinking of getting him off the drugs, you know, prior to getting back on the drugs. So I don't know any other way that you hear it from his mouth and you still don't. I posted the video he sent to me about thanking him for getting him off the drugs, you know,
getting him off the drugs prior to him getting back on the drugs. Interesting.
Back on the drugs. So I don't know any other way that you hear it from his mouth and you still don't.
The fallout he had with his parents is he was convinced that his mom, this is something you shouldn't do in business. If for some reason you become an overnight sensation and become wealthy, I never will. But if for some reason you do, like win the lottery or, you know, you have something blow up, and the first person you should hire, 2 people, is a lawyer that can protect you and a financial advisor to put your money somewhere. So when the fame ends, the money stops, blah, 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 the money's somewhere. Ryan didn't do that, okay? Ryan found out the hard way he needs a lawyer. And an even harder way that he needs a financial advisor. So he asked his mom, put her in charge of every account, put her in charge of all of his money, put her in charge of his booking company, put his mom in charge of everything. And I'm not saying you can't give your family jobs, but make them the assistants to the financial advisor or some shit. You know what I mean? His mom knew that Ryan wouldn't be famous forever. So she also knew that investing in real estate was a good idea. So she bought a couple houses through the company. Ryan knew about all this at the time, and they found renters to put in these houses so the houses weren't sitting empty. You don't want a house to sit empty because it'll fucking, you know, fall apart. So they found renters. Some of those renters were people they knew, people that come to work for Ryan, people that needed a house, people that I know where your paycheck's coming from, so you'll pay your rent. It's not like I have to worry about who you work for and if you're getting paid and if you lose your job or whatever. Ryan got spun up on meth and Adderall and somehow convinced himself that his mom bought houses behind his back. Now, it wasn't the houses that he knew about. It was these other. He was literally going to real estate sites and just typing in fucking addresses. He shows up at a person's house randomly that's living in this house and says, hey, do you know Ryan Upchurch? He asked the person this. So the person's like, oh, the musician or whatever? Not really. I know they're from here. Well, how do you know? Do you know Ryan? And named his mom and then named his dad. And the person said, oh, yeah, my husband worked with an Upchurch years and years ago in a construction company. That's it. That's it. And Ryan starts screaming, we own this house. How did you get it? This is my house. And it is not their house. It's someone else's house. To the point the cops had to come. Because Ryan refused to leave. He was going live in front of their house, claiming that he owned these people's house, and his mom gave it to him. This was not an investment house. It's not a property that he owned. It's not property that they rented out. Had nothing to do with Ryan. And has this big falling out with his mom. Well, Ryan's dad, I don't think the mom and dad are together. I think they're divorced. But Ryan's dad comes out and says, look, I don't want to cause any drama. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do nothing. I just want Ryan to get help. I want Ryan to get help. I heard a long time ago that he was doing some things he shouldn't have been. Kind of alluded to the fact that Ryan was doing drugs. without saying it. And I didn't do anything then. I'm doing something now. I just want Ryan to get help. So Ryan flips out. They're accusing me of being on drugs. It's because they steal from me and they do this and they do that. They've been leeching off of me and they stole my Bobcat. They stole a trailer and they did this and they're turning my brothers against me, and because he's a meth head, right? So his family backs way the fuck off. His mom tries to do some live streams and talk about things. Ryan's audience attacks her, so she goes dark. I don't think Ryan's mom should have done the live streams either, but whatever. She goes dark. Dad's still not on the internet. Well, suddenly, after Be Loose leaves, suddenly Ryan's mom comes back. And Ryan says, oh, Be Loose convinced me that you were the bad guy, blah, 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 but now I need my mom and whatever. And he makes up after he gets a tattoo across his eyebrow that says, Mama never tried. Then he's got to go back and face his mom and say that, oh, it was all Be Loose that did it, blah, 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 blah. Like, Ryan's a horrible, shitty person.
I don't believe it. Crisis King, I love horror movies.
I do not think his mom did anything nefarious. I think his mom was trying to help Ryan. Ryan knew about it. You can find old videos about him talking about it. And then through the meth paranoia psychosis, he's convinced himself that she's doing more than what she is and behind his back.
And sinful shit too. We're all sinners. Dude, I respect that. If that's what you want to believe.
Hey man, what is it? For all sin and fall short of the glory of God?
Yeah.
Hey man.
Yeah. All right. Was it he who without sin cast the first stone? Where, we all, like, I live my life. I try to be respectful and kind to others when I go into town and I meet people. I always try to be kind. I always try to match energies. This dude is cryptid. Well, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I just want to try this out tonight. Thank you guys a lot. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon. If I see any other comments that are worth addressing, then we'll give another minute and I'm out of here. I got some stuff to do. Interview you did.
Like smoking another 3 packs of cigarettes tonight.
Hey, well, I am who I am, and I'm not apologetic for who I am. I'm in oddities. We collect things. We have several items of ours that we sold to Pigeon Forge Alcatraz East. We have things in the Bone Museum in Brooklyn. Everything we have is legally acquired. So I will see will this exposure involve just Ryan or his mother too. Look, I'm not bringing anybody else into this. This has nothing to do with his family or anybody else that was associated. The only people that we brought in this are people that wanted to be brought into this. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to just really vindicate myself and others.
There are a lot of people who deserve to have their voices heard.
Yep, absolutely.
Who've been really hurt. I mean, people have, like you said earlier, people have had their lives destroyed by him.
And I see a little comment with the Chelsea and the fist. That was like the dumbest shit ever. There was a time where Ryan was actually pretty good at roasting.
Hey, Nick!
Yeah.
Is that how it can go? Or wait, what's the weird voice? Can you do it in the weird voice?
Well, he sent me several voice memos. Let me try it.
No, do it to Nick in the weird voice.
Nick.
The fist.
Chelsea.
No, Nick. Do Nick in the weird voice.
Nick.
Yes, thank you.
That's the dumbest thing. He's literally mocking me because I wrote a love song to my wife. You know what? I wrote a love song to my wife. My songs didn't suck when I helped him write some. Matter of fact, here. Let me show you one in real time. I wrote this when I was 15 years old. And I guarantee, here's the thing, Ryan can't play this. Just to prove to you. I mean, this won't prove it to you. You guys will still say he wrote it even though the motherfucker can play a fucking bar chord, really, but... Nash Vegas. Wrote that when I was like 15 years old. Ask me how many credits I had for that. Fucking 0. Bar chord, really, but... Nash Vegas. Wrote that when I was like 15 years old. Ask me how many credits I have for that. Fucking 0. Ask Ryan to pick the guitar up and play that song. It's just not going to happen. So yeah, I wrote a love song.
Calling him out now.
Regret it. I'll do it 100 more times if I'm able to. And
I didn't think there's anything weird about him writing a love song to his wife.
I feel inspired to. So yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean,
whatever.
That was done. That has no effect on me. I actually kind of find it kind of funny that it was that fucking lame. All right, so Satan worshiper, exposed musician. I don't worship Satan. That's false. I do not worship Satan. I'm a family man. I like horror stuff. I like dark imagery and stuff like that. I am intrigued by, like most Americans, on true crime and stuff like that.
I'd love to do just a separate list on releasing it during whatever. I do think it's really funny that after watching Castle, he had to make another.
Yeah, he had to make another account. Yeah, he had to make another account, which is dumb.
Okay, so I'll address the Hail Satan shirt. The Hail Satan shirt is actually a shirt from the Satanic Temple. I'm not a member of the Satanic Temple, but what the Satanic Temple is a it's more of a political.
It's a group that trolls Christians.
Stance for rationalism and bodily autonomy.
It's a group that trolls Christians that try to get involved in the government.
It is a secular organization, so they don't believe in literal Satan. It's just they use Satan as the symbolism for rebel, essentially. So that's what the Hail Satan shirt was. It's a Satanic Temple shirt.
Yeah, and also I've been a punk rocker for most of my life. And a lot of that was just kind of flipping the middle finger at people and kind of getting a reaction out of them. Once again, I respect whatever anybody wants to believe. We have most of our family's Christian. That's fine. We actually went to a church service not too long.
The chat's full of a bunch of fucking people are like, I don't fuck with anybody who takes Satan lightly. Like, get the fuck out of here. Shut up.
See one of our family members become a ordained.
Satan's as real as your Sky Daddy is. Get out of here.
So, if that's what you do, that's cool.
So I got the Hail Satan shirt after we visited Ceylon. I have a Buddhist shirt that I wear in support of our friend who is, I don't know what his official title is, but, I just think that all religion and people who represent their religions correctly, I think it's a beautiful, wonderful thing. I think it's a different type of codes that you choose to live your life by, and all of them deserve to be talked about, and your missions talked about. We have plenty of everybody from Christians to Buddhists to people who are Jewish,
and people that just don't believe in anything,
and satanic, and all of those different things. They are part of our life because
if you're a good person with a good heart, then we're probably going to click and get along. I don't care what you guys say about that. This isn't about any of that. Yes, I eat pork. But I guess that's about all I got to say. I'm going to probably delete this thing. Mainly one thing I want to do is make sure it works. So I am live and I got to work.
I'm glad he didn't delete it.
Get the better camera next time with a better angle and that sort of thing.
Let's say it might just be unlisted.
That's going to be it. I'm not worried about the haters. I've been hated for a long time. That's all good. So let me figure out how to get off here. Hope you guys have a wonderful night, and I'll see you again on the flip side.
You guys want to see the apple juice guy, I guess?
Okay. Well, this is a dry run, so I don't know. So basically, I'm trying to set everything up. I tried to go with the cool. So, see, Johnny Cashville's one. I'm going to delete this. So I'll end up deleting this anyway.
Johnny Cashville's now trying to help Ron. So why would Johnny Cashville now try to help Ron? Johnny Cashville has royalties on Ron, and Ron pissed off his distribution company, and they pulled down all of his fucking music everywhere. So you don't get paid on royalties if your music isn't played anywhere, and radio's not nearly as big as it was at one time, right? Everything's streaming and platforms like that, internet-based platforms. So when Ryan pissed off Command Shift, they're like, fuck you, we'll pull down your whole goddamn catalog. We have no requirement to list your catalog. Find a new place that distributes your music. So Johnny Cashville's now trying to come back and work for Ryan, because Johnny Cashville gets paid royalties. That's how Johnny Cashville has money to this day. I don't think he's ever done anything else in his life. Like he gets on the internet and acts like a fucking retard, but that's about it.
Okay. You said you're 8. I see Adam in the card 8.
Yeah, Adam's in the chart. It's on this.
Okay, sorry.
So now I'm able to go live, which is great. If you guys have a couple questions, I might take a couple questions. Like, realistically, I'm going to delete this. So, how long were you Ryan's manager? 9 months. Right at 9 months. A couple years, and I came back for 9. It would be false. I did not sign. Hey, can you move that to the left a little?
Like tilt it.
Yeah, just tilt it.
All right, let me know when.
That's perfect. Do you think that'll do?
Yes.
All right. Hey, just tell Adam to sit in the car. You come hang out. I'm doing a live, but I'm about to be off. All right. So, so no NDA sign. I subscribed. Appreciate your honesty. So my hope with this whole thing is not only vindicate myself, but to vindicate other people that are deserving to be vindicated, because there was a lot of them that didn't deserve what they got. So that's the main thing. So I know a lot of people are asking, like, hey, when are you going to put it out? When are you going to put it out? But you don't understand, it's a lot. I mean, it's even super small. So you guys just got to be patient with me. I'm going to try to have something out, in the next 7 days or less. Originally I said 2 weeks, but you guys have been blowing me up. So if you see any questions, let me know. No cell phones. Yeah, there's some cell phones. Will you grab me apple juice?
There he is. All right, I'm going to slow it down so you guys believe me. No one noticed the masked shotgun wielder. Here we go. Johnny Cashville is a person.
Why are you waiting to release what you have? So the main reason...
Guy, shotgun, ski mask.
I'm waiting to... Hey, what's up, Jake? Will you grab me an apple juice? The main reason...
And he's the apple juicer.
The reason I'm waiting to release what I have is because...
Did you guys see it or no? No one noticed it the first time. Hold on, I'll zoom in. He's the guy who gets the apple juice. It might be a rifle.
Are you waiting to
either way?
You have. So the main reason I'm waiting to... Hey, what's up, Jake? Will you grab me an apple juice? The main reason I'm waiting to release what I have is because I'm not super fast at editing. I'm also working and doing other things. Ryan's not my only gig. I do events. I do other things like that.
And here he comes with the apple juice. There he is. Apple juice in his hand.
Like that.
And he hands it to Chad.
Every bit of my time to this thing.
Jack the juice guy. That's right.
I have to be patient. I promise it to be worth the wait.
And then we get the apple juice in the bag.
So I've hired lawyers. I'm at the police department. Make it out and still hang up.
5 years ago, we kind of like defense of him. Absolutely wrong. 5 years ago, he's a her, but to anybody.
So he is doing it to fuck with Ryan.
We may have heard,
or at least this part,
or whatever, because of Ryan, like in defense of him. 5 years ago, he was a different person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it had to do something. Had to have something to do with Ryan or some. Why would you do, even if that's like a weird kink you have, why the fuck would you do it right in front of the camera? Look how well he frames it.
He's a lot closer to the person.
It's like in front of his face and everything.
I absolutely want to apologize to anybody now that we may have heard or whatever.
And here's the thing about it. I stay away from the internet drama. I do my own thing. Ryan's like really low tier celebrity compared to most of the celebrities we work with.
I think it probably has something to do with like his horror stuff or whatever. They were probably, because he's talking on the phone to that person, the same person, and saying, "Can you move it a little bit to the left? Can you do this? Okay, that's perfect."
I don't know how.
I think they must have took an Instagram picture or something with the guy in a ski mask holding a rifle, or maybe something for the video, or you know, a video or some shit. I don't know. The low tier thing is going to hurt Ryan the most. And then we had the Gotcha Man cover it. Hold on. Jim Bob, the Gotcha Man, talked about the trailer part of it. The beginning of the end. We just watched the first part because we're not going to watch the full Chad Shepard thing that we just watched, the trailer.
Former manager of Nashville native Ryan Edward Upchurch, also known as Ari, also known as Jerry, also been known to be told to go to bed, dropped a trailer this evening, which is said to be the first of many to come to ultimately vindicate this man and several others before him who's had to deal with this kid, dude. This guy sucks, obviously.
Dude, I saw I got to talk about this because my ADHD is fucking firing on all cylinders. I found content that I'm addicted to, okay, online. And if I had the money, I would do this myself. There's a guy that is rebuilding a Ferrari in a whole series. So basically, like the transmission oil cooler went out, locked up his transmission, his rear wheels locked while he was going down the fucking interstate, destroyed the fucking Ferrari, right? And Ferrari, Bugatti, Lamborghini, places like that only have a limited number of dealerships that are able to do like repair like this, right? And they charge hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's why you can buy a Ferrari with a lot of miles on it for like 1/10 of the new price. They don't have a whole lot of used resale if they have miles on them because the maintenance is so expensive and they're not exactly built to last for a ton of miles without heavy maintenance that is very expensive. But the series I've been watching, I think he just finished it. He pulled part of the engine. He pulls the transmission. He pulls the back. The whole ass end of the car has to come off to do this type of work. And he's only repairing it with Harbor Freight tools. It is the coolest series I've seen. He's only using tools from the literal cheapest tool company. And like Ferrari's like, you can't do that. You got to have this. You got to have this one tool to put in one seal that costs $8,000. He's like, I found this at Harbor Freight. I think it'll work. It's amazing. I love it so much. If I had a broken supercar, that's the content I would be making today.
Going down as best Upchurch manager that ever was. Bro, you got Upchurch off drugs. You got
Upchurch off drugs.
To put his nose in his own business.
Got Upchurch to look into his own business, banking.
Bank account.
Yeah, we're going to review what Chad has to say in this first of many videos. See what he's talking about, man. Do you want some questions answered yourself? Is there things that you've always wondered about old Jerry? I'd like to know what kind of concealer.
If Ryan's not on drugs, why would he send a message to Chad saying, you got Upchurch off drugs? You got me looking at my own banking information for the first time ever. You're the best manager Upchurch has ever had.
And what shape Jerry was putting over.
By the way, people who talk about themselves in the third person, horrible people, okay? Like, you have women and then people who talk about themselves in the third person.
Sores on his face, personally. Yeah, that's a good one. Who knows? He might answer that. But first, let's check on the comeback tour. It's only good to see the progress of his comeback before we review a video of somebody putting a roadblock in front of that.
Led on by his last manager, Brandon Lewis, made us think that we'd eventually get our royalties or maybe even get our jobs back.
Anyway, let's go. All right, so like I said, before we get into Chad's video, which I feel like is obviously a slow roast, slow cook, not even something that you put in the oven. I think Chad's putting it.
I wouldn't say much, Dr. J. You're below women.
He got one of them smokers outside, one of them like 5 days. This dude definitely looks like somebody that would slow roast a hog for 4 or 5 days. Before we get into that, man, let's give it a fair shake. Let's check on Ryan, see what the comeback's looking like, man.
So this is Ryan's Instagram post the last couple of days.
Better than y'all think. Nope, it sucks. All seriousness, man, he is dropping new.
Not a baseball. You're not going to strike that. Strike out, maybe.
New music now that he's under brand new management, brand new distro. He's over there kicking it with the SoundCloud rappers on distro. He just dropped this jewel right here the other day.
They're talking about how low the views are, but it's because he had to repost everything.
I know. You're like, gotcha, man. You're not giving it a fair shake. He had to re-upload that. It's some old stuff.
Yeah, maybe softball, right? Hit a watermelon with a telephone pole. Yeah, that's more your speed.
Man, just take it.
Someone tell me who the greatest Japanese baseball player of all time is, and I'll fucking lose my shit.
Cheap shots got you, man, and I didn't think you were.
Ooh, the Rockies are playing in the fucking Alps, or what the fuck ever happened.
About that. Look, I'm not taking cheap shots. I'm fully aware that the reason that video has such low views is because it's an old song that had to be popped back up, and it was re-uploaded with several hundred other songs. And that's my point exactly. New manager, you gotta ask yourself, why was that taken down to begin with? Did your boy get out of pocket with his former distro? That was a perfect relationship for all those years, and he just got out of pocket with him like he did other people. So I'm saying, man, dude's gonna be hard to manage, and probably still can't even admit that that was a fuck up. Hey, like I said, he's on his comeback, baby, and it's
impossible to manage if he's on meth. I mean, that's a time bomb. I understand Cashville has a fucking monetary interest, right, to getting shit uploaded so he can get his royalties back. But damn,
it's spearheaded by none other than Johnny Cash.
I like Harbor Freight shit. Yeah, if I'm not gonna use it like daily to make money with, I buy tons of stuff at Harbor Freight. I'm actually fixing to go buy. I was supposed to buy it the other day while I was on their spring Black Friday sale, but I want their 3-ton off-road jack.
The man, the myth.
I've been supposed to buy it, fixing to buy it for about a year and a half.
The necklace. Hey, and listen, his manager is hard at it right now, man. Hard.
That's Johnny Cashville, by the way, for someone who asked. That's Johnny Cashville right there.
Himself. The man, the myth. The necklace. Hey, and listen, his manager is hard at it right now, man. Hard to work.
Not necklace like wearing a necklace, but necklace as in having no neck.
Out there trying to get people to drop lawsuits. Over in Dub's chat, man, please drop this lawsuit, man. I promise you I'm gonna make it.
He's in someone's chat. This is Johnny Cashville, Ryan Upchurch's new manager. He's in someone's live chat saying, okay, Dub, imagine Ryan being behind FAFO, which I guess is his brand or something. You would get much more than you will ever get in a lawsuit, bub, just saying. Trying to convince someone to drop a lawsuit against Ryan.
Worth your while. What, bruh? I ain't trying to get legal mumbo jumbo like all y'all talking about. Like, oh man, that's witness something or other. But you can't claim to be the new manager of a defendant in an active case and be caught in the chat of the plaintiff being like, hey man, please drop it for my dude. Please drop it for him, man. And lightweight trying to bribe him.
Allie, for real, I got him. Johnny, the man with the plan. For real, I got him. Trying to get Dub to call me. I wonder why you need that phone call so bad to drop a lawsuit.
That's crazy work, Cashville. That's crazy work. And then telling Dub that Ryan will get behind FAFO if he just drops the lawsuit. Come on, man. I honestly think Dub has a heart. And if you would have come at him and been like, hey, listen, man, Ryan is going broke. He's got a lot of things going on. His former manager is about to cook him, slow roast style, and he's going to be broke. And he's going to have all these problems, man. And one less problem would really help old boy out, man. If you could find it in your heart to drop this lawsuit for my boy, man. We get ready to work it out, man. We're getting ready to be friends again. And I'm just trying to look out for a friend. Dub still wouldn't have done it, but it would have been bad. It would look better on you. You know what I'm saying? Like you would have, you know what I'm saying? It would look better than just some greedy shit. Like, hey man, look, I'm trying to work on this dude over here and I'm trying to pump this money machine real quick. You're kind of f***ing it up, man. Can you drop that? That's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
Is that a saw?
Anyway, speaking of the man himself,
in the background,
he answered some questions last night on Instagram. Let's get into that before we watch Chad's trailer.
Man, it's a free country. You can believe whatever you want. But I'm not just gonna fucking believe and run with everything that's got big bold letters.
So look, y'all, I'm just gonna keep it a buck up front. I've already
Ryan also doesn't understand what a PDF is.
seen this. This is 1,000% a PR stunt, a video of, hey, I'm a different person. Here's the reasons for what you're seeing or what you might be hearing about me on the internet. This is like a foundation laying for my new music career comeback thing. I don't know if your manager spearheaded this. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on, man. But it was a lame attempt.
Gotcha, man. Broadcasting from the Ukrainian front lines.
He knows what they're looking at. Can see right through this garbage that he's getting ready to say. But the reason that I'm putting it out here is the comedic value. Obviously, that's what I do. I'm your tour guide, baby. Copper shirt. But this dude literally said it's a government psyop.
Oscillating tool, probably.
People are calling him out on Instagram. Man, you can't make this stuff up, man. Oh, this is why I love you, Jerry.
You do understand that Epstein files is like 5.2 million files, and not one of them is physical. They're all like via electronic PDF. That's why you could like remove the redactedness and see stuff. Just like the Obama birth certificate. It was layered, you know, like made electronically. Is your birth certificate made electronically? No, I can print it on paper.
Oh, I was gonna.
Unless you need to send it to somebody, then it's a fucking PDF file, you goddamn retard.
cut that part out originally because him speaking on the Epstein files is just for him to invoke emotion out of some people that are pretty fired up about it, right? And if he can get you drawn in and get you listening and tuned in to what he's talking about because, you know, you're passionate about the topic, then he can later feed you some shit and make you believe that a psyop is the reason people are telling him to take a nap and go to rehab, right? But I'm leaving it in, again, for the comedic value, because this dude, how are you an independent artist with any success at all, and you don't understand how a PDF works? Of course our birth certificates were not made electronically, but if we were to share them online with people, you know, the people who demanded the Epstein files be shared publicly, what did you think they were going to do, Jerry? Print out thousands of copies and mail them out to everybody across the world?
Fucking Pony Express style.
This dude is such an idiot.
Hire a town crier to go announce your birth certificate everywhere.
Yeah, man. That's all you can do is laugh about it. No, our birth certificates weren't made electronically, but a lot of us actually these days, it's pretty common for people to upload all their personal documents into like a PDF file and into a USB drive, flash drive, and keep it in a fireproof safe, along with the paper copies somewhere else or whatever. Yeah, but yeah, you can take any document, Ryan. Listen, it's going to blow your mind, son. You can take any document out there and you can scan it in and turn it in to a PDF file. Your manager should have told you that. Come on, Cashville, you're slacking, Jack.
So let me get this straight. There's 5.2 million Epstein files. None of them are made with ink. Okay?
None of them are made with ink. Some of them are fucking movies. What did you expect? Like a flip book?
No, honestly, where is your manager or father at this point to tell you to not upload something this embarrassing? What do you think, it's the 1800s or something and everything needs to be handwritten out? To who it may concern. How do you think everything is made these days?
Big fucking pen made out of a goddamn ostrich feather or some shit.
Right? It has to be typed up electronically and then printed out, dingus. Even when there was typewriters, they typed it up and then it came out on ink. And then when they want to share them with masses of people or across long distances or just save them for themselves and be uploaded somewhere else, they turn them into a PDF file. I know you're not going to believe this because it's big bold letters and you don't believe all big bold letters, but PDF file is actually a portable document file. That it's just a copy. Anyway, let's get to where how a psyop is the reason why people think that you've lost your mind.
And it ain't like just like spying, like, ooh, what are they doing? Are they selling drugs? No, collecting your data, your metadata, so they can learn what you like and what you want to talk about, and then they can change what kind of people you connect with on the internet, which could sway elections if you're talking about the political environment. I mean, shit, just look at my Instagram. It's totally fucking switched up.
Listen,
where I can't even say
psyop.
It used to be all Trump supporters, but now it's people who think the opposite of me somehow. Then you got all the people in the comment section who are like, you switched up, bro. Can't believe this. I'm like, dog, I'm the only one who hasn't switched up. What are you talking about?
Government psyop. The government is sending haters to my Instagram.
Talking about? Well, what I think they're talking about is how you used to be a relatable Southern gentleman that did pretty decent music and did cover songs about how they should take their local drug dealers and put them in a tall tree with a short rope. But now you're on a short rope and have nobody in your circle, and those drug dealers are your best friends. That's what they're talking about, Ryan. Don't play dumb. But imagine being in so much denial that it has to be a government psyop that has infiltrated your Instagram and forced all these people to type in there, hey, dude, get help, man. You changed. You suck nowadays. Hey, man, this isn't the real you. Hey, we've been there. We see what you're doing because we've been through the exact same thing, and it's textbook. Dude.
Addiction's what he said, and had to, I guess, clip it out for YouTube.
I've never seen somebody try so hard and reach so far to excuse their behavior besides the truth. And I gotta say, man, this is to you and your new manager, Cashville. If you ever think...
His neck tattoo says, so he calls his people, his followers, the Creek Squad. Like, his brand is like redneck, hillbilly, rap, whatever. So he calls his followers the Creek Squad. And people within that are called Creekers. And one of his albums is named Creeker as well. So his neck tattoo says Creeker, like a stream, like a creek. And it says Creeker, Creeker.
Think this comeback is going to work. You have to start from, hey, guys, I messed up.
That's the psyop. The psyop is making you think that you're not being you anymore. I mean, you would think that would be of concern to the, the national intelligence agencies, that fucking internet psyop.
Well, just a few months ago, Upchurch was trying to convince people that Donald Trump Jr., was watching his Instagram stories to know who to send ICE after to prosecute for trying to frame Ryan. Now he's like, they're running a psyop on me, and I can't even get the intelligence agencies to check into it. Wouldn't that be interesting for them to check into? But like a couple months ago, no lie, he's like, isn't that right, Don Jr.? I know why the ICE agents are in Nashville. They're coming after you guys, trying to set me up.
Is tricking people into thinking they don't know who they are. That's fucking crazy.
You would think that would be a concern to the national intelligence agencies that these people don't know who. Okay, your life falling apart is.
I say crick sometimes.
No concern of the National Intelligence Agency. Actually, they're a little too intelligent to deal with the train wreck that is you these days. But wow, dude, if anybody should be concerned about anything, is they should be concerned about if they watch this and actually feed into it and actually change their opinion of you and go, oh my God, did the government psyop? Last week I typed, Jerry, go to bed. Jerry, please get help. Hey, Jerry, you look crazy and nobody believes anything you're saying, not even the recent Chad went and got storage lockers behind my back. There must be some big old conspiracy there. Nobody.
The police sent me to investigate this Chad guy.
Nobody believes none of that, dude. And this is a problem. To be trying to trick people into thinking the only reason that they thought you had a problem is because the government fed them that. Oh, off, man. I'm not going to watch any more of this. Let's get into Chad's trailer and good luck, Cap.
We've done Chad's trailer. So we're past that. This is a person we covered a while back. You guys remember the DoorDasher that recorded herself walking up on the porch, looking in somebody's door, and the guy was like naked on his couch or whatever, and she tried to claim that she was sexually assaulted, but then she posted that video to social media and then wondered why she got fired? Well, here we go.
This TikToker has finally been indicted months after she went viral for recording an unconscious man in his own home, naked from the waist down. She uploaded the footage to TikTok where nearly 30 million people saw it.
Like, it's one thing for her to walk up on the porch and see somebody naked and say, oh, he was expecting DoorDash, this is fucked up. That's not sexual assault, first of all. And second of all, why the fuck did you record it and post it on social media and then act surprised when you lost your job?
And then she called herself the victim.
I'm the one being punished. He's not getting in trouble with the police. He didn't lose his job if he has one. Like, what's going on with him? Why am I getting fired? Why are my videos getting taken down? Why am I getting strikes? Like, I'm about to lose my account. I was assaulted. I'm the victim. I lost my job. I'm the victim.
You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
You see, Olivia Henderson, the TikToker here, claimed that this man sexually assaulted her during a DoorDash delivery. And that was even though he was completely unconscious the entire time. But when police investigated, they determined that no sexual assault occurred. And as a result of this whole thing, she ended up arrested and charged with 2 felonies. She pled guilty, and then her case got transferred to county court. And then for a long time, it all went quiet. But now, after months of this case sitting in what felt like legal limbo, DoorDash girl has officially been indicted by a grand jury in Oswego County.
Dissemination of surveillance image, self-publish, to sell or publish, unlawful surveillance for amusement or profit.
And by the looks of it, the charges are exactly the same as what she was arrested for, which means the prosecution didn't water down a single thing. So in this video, we're going to talk about what the indictment means, what she's facing, and why this might signal that the DA is not necessarily messing around with this case. Let's get into it.
The guy was banned from using DoorDash, right? And that was about it. Maybe he was being a creep, maybe he wasn't, but she definitely went too far by posting him unedited, naked, on the internet for 30 million people.
Okay, so just to make sure that we're all on the same page here, since it has been a bit since our last video on the subject, let me first give you a quick recap of the case. This is Olivia Henderson. She is 23 years old from Oswego, New York. Back on October 12th, 2025, she was working as a DoorDash driver. And while working, she picked up a Wendy's order and delivered it to a customer in the city of Oswego. Apparently, that customer had selected the option to have his order left at the door. This is important for this case.
And my customer requested that their order be left at their front door. And when I arrived at their house, their front door was wide open and they were within eyesight of the front door, laying on the couch indecently exposed to me.
However, this conflicts with some reporting that's out there saying that the man actually has ring footage that shows her pushing the door open to see inside his home. And police would apparently later determine through their investigation that this man was incapacitated and unconscious due to alcohol consumption, and that therefore the assault couldn't even have happened in the first place. Now, a reasonable person walking into a situation like this where you have a customer that is unconscious on their couch, half naked, probably would have just set the food down and walked away. And if the door was indeed open, they may have just closed the door for the guy, or maybe even called someone to check in on him to make sure he was okay. But Henderson pulled out her phone and recorded him instead.
That's fucked up.
She then uploaded that video to TikTok with no censorship over his body, and she included his first name in the caption, not to mention the front of his house. And this video racked up nearly 30 million views before TikTok finally took it down. And then she uploaded it again before TikTok took it down once again.
You guys, my account is currently at risk of being banned because I had to explain my story one time, right? They took the video down and gave my account a strike. So I explained my story again and censored the video that I have just so they can't take it down for the same reason. They took it down for the same reason again, and now my account has a second strike. Guess what? If I get one more strike, I'm banned from TikTok. So not only—
And then she went on a TikTok campaign of sorts, claiming that this man sexually assaulted her. But here's something worth noting, which I have talked about in previous videos before. When she says that she was assaulted by the guy, she didn't go to the police first. Instead, she first uploaded to TikTok. Then she reported to DoorDash second, apparently. And she only went to the police after commented on her viral video, suggested that she should do it.
And they sent a police officer over to speak to me in person and watch the video that I have. And then he asked me to email it to him, and he asked me if I want to press charges, like what do I want to come from this?
And the sequence of events is potentially important. I would imagine that the prosecution is likely to put it in front of a jury so that they can understand that her allegations of sexual assault were not really legitimate, that she didn't have a good faith belief in them if the first place that she went to was TikTok as opposed to the police. Now, on top of that, DoorDash did respond to this whole situation. First, they banned the customer and Henderson. Then, because this incident went so viral, DoorDash actually put out their own statement about it on TikTok. There, they said that posting a video of a customer in their home and disclosing personal details publicly is a clear policy violation, and that was the only reason that her account was deactivated. But you know, Henderson...
So she was banned for posting the video.
Was not happy about any of it. And the thing she seems to have been most upset about was the fact that she wasn't going to get paid for the views on the viral videos since they had been taken down by TikTok.
And they took down my video. They were going to have to pay me for my second story time because that was over a minute long. They were going to have to pay me for all those views I got. So no, they took that right down. They took that right down. Absolutely not. They're not paying me for that. Nope.
And that's something that is going to be probably important to show her intent in posting these videos in the first place. By the way, if you need help with a real legal issue in your life, contact us at the Bites Law Group.
Did this lady just blur her cat's butthole? Hold on. Hold on. I get it. We have to be sensitive to the algorithm. Did you just blur your cat's butthole? There's full cat. There's the blur. That's like a cat's favorite thing to do, bro. Is show you their butthole. Honestly, you're infringing on the cat at this point. No fucking way, dude. Did she blur the cat's butthole? What the f...
you need help with a real legal issue in your life, contact us at the Bites Law Group at bites.law. We're partnered with firms all across the U.S. So if you go to the link in the description below, we can help you find all.
That's my cat's favorite thing to do.
Representation in your jurisdiction. Anyway, as I was saying, I mentioned earlier that the Oswego City Police Department...
I'm the victim here.
...investigated Henderson's claims, and they said that they reviewed independent video evidence from the scene. And on top of that, the man apparently cooperated fully and gave a statement. So the police concluded through their investigation that the man was incapacitated and unconscious on his couch due to alcohol consumption, and that no sexual assault had occurred. So on November 10th, 2025, Henderson was arrested by the Oswego City Police Department for recording the man while he was naked and then uploading that recording to the internet. She was charged with 2 felonies. The first count was for unlawful surveillance. That's for the act of actually recording the man with her phone without his consent. And the second count was dissemination of an unlawful surveillance image. That's for the act of uploading that footage to the internet. Then on December 4th, 2025, Henderson showed up at Oswego City Court for her arraignment, where she pled not guilty. After that, the case got transferred from Oswego City Court to Oswego County Court. And this is standard in New York for felony cases, as is the case in probably most states. In New York, city courts don't actually have jurisdiction to try felonies, only to do the most basic early appearances. That means that once it goes to a grand jury for an indictment, the case is automatically transferred to county court. So until that grand jury indictment, this case has kind of been in limbo between the two, although it seemed like it was being positioned to be transferred to county court. That said, for a while, it was still very unclear to the public what was really going on until now. And so here's the big update. Olivia Henderson has now been officially indicted by a grand jury in Oswego County. As you can see from her docket here, her case is now listed in the Oswego County court system under an indictment case number. And the charges, let's take a look. As I mentioned before, they are the exact same charges that she was originally arrested for. You can see that count 1 is for dissemination of an unlawful surveillance image, which is Penal Code Section 250.60. And then there's count 2, which is unlawful surveillance brought under Penal Code Section 250.45 sub 01. So the prosecution has not diluted a thing. They didn't downgrade any charges. They didn't drop anything. They brought the exact same felonies to the grand jury. And the grand jury looked at the evidence that was presented to them and said, yep, there's enough evidence here. Proceed towards trial. So let's go over really quickly what a grand jury indictment actually is for anyone who isn't familiar. Similar to a jury that you see in a trial, a grand jury is a panel of people that are from the local community. And the job of a grand jury...
It doesn't mean that they'll get a conviction. I mean, obviously she did it, but usually they can get a grand jury. I mean, there's no defense, right?
Is to review the trial grand all. So really what that means is the grand jury only hears one side of the case here. Right. That's one of the reasons why indictments are pretty notoriously easy to achieve. In fact, you've probably heard of the old saying that, you know, if you really wanted to, you can indict a ham sandwich. So that's why it is important to note that even though, yes, she has been indicted here, a higher bar than what the grand, most of the evidence is probably actually available to the public, and there probably is enough to convict in my opinion. But I did want to note the differences between the burdens of proof in an indictment versus a trial, because that is a huge justifiable option available here. jury. To do it, the defendant waives her right to a grand jury, and then the DA files a charging document. So basically, the case moves forward without that extra step. Now, SCIs can be an indication that both sides are actively working more towards a plea deal as opposed to towards trial. That's because an SCI is much faster and simpler than a full grand jury indictment, and it does signal cooperation between the two sides. But here, it looks like the DA didn't go the SCI route. Instead, they took the time to present the case to a full grand jury. And that could mean that they are taking this case pretty seriously, which means they might be a little bit less willing to offer easy plea deals, maybe because they want to make an example here. Now, with that said, it is also totally possible that Henderson was in fact offered a plea deal before the indictment and that she turned it down. But if she did, I personally think that's a pretty foolish decision because the odds of her getting a better plea offer post-indictment are pretty slim. That's because the closer you get to trial, the less generous these offers tend to get. That is assuming, of course, that there isn't some sort of evidence that comes up that surprises everyone that is super beneficial to the defendant. Now, aside from that, some people might be wondering why this indictment took so long. I mean, the incident happened in October 2025. Then in November 2025, she was arrested. And now in April,
I want to see what she's facing.
Okay, so let's talk about what she's actually looking at in terms of potential punishment now that she has been officially indicted. So both charges are Class E felonies. And under New York Penal Law Section 70.00, the maximum prison sentence for a Class E felony is 4 years. And because she has two of these charges, and because these charges are for two separate acts, one recording, one uploading, she could be looking at...
I don't know that. Will she get jail time? I don't know.
Up to 8 years in prison if they run consecutively. And I know that a lot of people are really hoping that she gets the full 8 years because what she did was truly awful. This man was unconscious in his own home, and he was in one of the most vulnerable states a person can be in. And in so many ways, footage that gets uploaded to the internet is forever. And honestly, a lot of people have probably rightly pointed out that if the genders were swapped in this particular case, there would be easy outrage across the board about the defendant's conduct. Instead of helping him or just doing her job and walking away, she recorded his naked body, and then she put it on the internet for the entire world to see. And what's worse, probably...
And then bitches about, they would have to pay me for that video. Now they don't.
Most of all, worse for her, because now this is evidence that is almost definitely going to be used against her. She said at one point on the internet afterwards that her purpose in sharing the videos to the internet was to shame and embarrass the man.
Like, this is the only justice I'm getting, is exposing this man and having posted that video and it has gone viral. Like, now he can live with shame and embarrassment if people have seen it and knows who he is or where he, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the one being punished. He's not getting in trouble with the police. He didn't lose his job if he has one. Like, what's going on with him? Why am I getting fired? Why are my videos getting taken down? Why am I getting strikes? Like, I'm about to lose my account. I was assaulted. I'm the victim. I lost my job. I'm the victim. Right? Is this making sense to...
What happened to me while I was doing my job door dashing, I'm being punished as a victim by all sectors involved right now. The police, DoorDash, and TikTok are all punishing me, a victim.
Any fucking buddy.
And that's on top of what we said earlier about her seeming most upset about losing revenue.
She is annoying, right? She didn't present herself well. She posted this, then she come on and tried to play victim and made multiple videos about how she was the victim, blah, blah, blah. And the court of public opinion turned on her quick.
Viral videos that got taken down. She wanted those views. She wanted to get paid. So the intent to degrade and the intent to profit are both right there on camera coming out of her mouth. And that intent is really important for proving the case against her. So these admissions are incredibly damaging for her.
It's hard to prove intent against anybody, except when they come out and say, the reason I did this is to shame him, to smear him, and I wanted that money, and now they're not giving it to me.
Case. But all of that considered, here's the reality of sentencing. Henderson appears to have no prior criminal history. And to her credit, since her arrest, she's been fairly quiet on social media. She hasn't been making things worse for herself like many social media influencers who have run into legal trouble. And under New York law, the court has options beyond prison for sentencing. And those include probation and conditional discharge. So unless the DA and the judge really want to make an example out of her, there is a good chance that she'll probably get some form of probation. Do I personally love that result? No, but I'm simply looking at the reality of how these things tend to shake out. But consider the fact that even if she does avoid prison, if she ends up with a felony conviction on her record, it does carry real consequences. It can affect employment, housing, professional licensing if she ever tries to pursue something like that. And
she hasn't really posted at all. She has a video with 13 million views from October 16th.
Hey guys, it's been
last year.
A whole 24 hours, I know. But I have an update as of October 16th, 2025. But first and foremost, I just want to thank everybody for the overwhelming support and allyship that you've shown me. It's really making me feel so validated and seen and heard, and that's really helping me through this tough time. So I just want to let you guys know I really appreciate the outpouring of support. So the update is, last night I was made aware, a bunch of people started commenting on my pages that DoorDash made a public statement about me on their TikTok story and on their most recent Instagram post in the comment section. And I'm not going to speak too much further on details, but what I am going to say is I and the entire rest of the world found out why I lost my job at the exact same time. I didn't find out before you guys. I'm just letting you know this right now. The people that saw their public statements and made me aware that they made those public statements knew why I lost my job before I did. Because I went and I checked my email once I was made aware that they made those public statements, and they sent me the deactivation email around the same time they released the public statements, like literally within the same hour. So they sent me my deactivation email explaining my reason for being deactivated a whole 24 hours after they deactivated me, and a whole 24 hours after I already submitted my appeal, and about 12 hours after they had already denied my appeal.
You can't record a customer and in a vulnerable state like that and post it. Like, of course you're going to use your job. Dude, if I was an electrician and I was wiring up someone's house, and I happened to pass by their bathroom window, it's one thing to see someone naked. It's another thing to record them and post it online. You don't think that I would get fired from the electric company? Like, what the fuck?
They finally sent me the email explaining why they fired me. So I and the rest of the world, we all found out why I lost my job together. That's the update. Hey guys, it's been a minute, a whole 24 hours.
And then one more she posted on 10/26, 10 days later.
I'm also Olivia, but I prefer to go by Liv or Livy Henderson for anybody who's wondering. And for anybody who's just now hearing about this, what happened is October 12th, 2025, I was doing my job as a DoorDash driver, and my customer requested that their order be left at their front door. And when I arrived at their house, their front door was wide open, and they were within eyesight of the front door, laying on the couch, indecently exposed to me. And I reported this to DoorDash, and I want to clarify, I did report this to the police the very next morning on October 13th. And DoorDash did ban the customer, and then a day and a half later, DoorDash banned me as well, and this was DoorDash's response to me. There have been a lot of people saying things like I entered the customer's home or I opened the customer's door, but I can assure you that I did not do either of those things, and I have obtained irrefutable proof that the door was already wide open when I arrived to the customer's house. But due to its importance, I cannot post that proof at this time. And to all those that have been supportive of me during this time, thank you so much. I've been seeing your comments and your videos and your messages, and trust me, I won't forget the love that has been shown to me during this time. And to any large creators that have made statements on my situation and then further retracted that and then issued me an apology, I appreciate that. Thank you. Hi guys, it's the DoorDash girl.
Okay, fuck her.
A whole lot more. It follows you for a
So
long
she hasn't posted since October of last year.
time if you can't get it
on this
the record.
account.
And personally, I think that she should face meaningful consequences. This wasn't some kind of innocent mistake. It was a series of deliberate choices. She chose to record him, and then she chose to upload it, and then she chose to monetize it, and then she chose to falsely accuse this man of sexual assault, and she chose to double down publicly. Every single one of those choices was self-serving and at someone else's expense. And the person who paid the price was a man who was passed out on his own couch in his own living room in his own home. People can debate all day and night about whether or not the door was open, how open it was, if it was open at all, yada, yada, yada. The fact of the matter is she is not clearly in the clear here with her conduct. Anyway, so where does the case go from here? The county court docket shows that her next court appearance is scheduled for May 1st, 2026 at 9 a.m. It was originally set for April 20th, but that got rescheduled for, I don't know, some reason. So now there are a few possible paths that go from here. Path number one is one I mentioned, it's a plea deal. Honestly, this would be the smartest move for her at this point, in my opinion. If she accepts responsibility now, she likely gets a more favorable outcome than going to trial and losing. Because honestly, the evidence here looks pretty clear cut for the prosecution. And I think that if this case goes to trial, it ends with a conviction. And on top of that, when it comes to sentencing, judges also tend to look more favorably on defendants who take accountability. Anyway, then there's path number two. Here, her attorney could file a motion to dismiss the indictment. You could probably put two and two together here, but that is basically where the defense argues that the indictment should be thrown.
Yeah, the guy should personally sue.
Entirely. Maybe they said the evidence was insufficient.
Maybe even sue DoorDash.
Argue some kind of a procedural defect. But given the evidence, like I said, I think that is a very uphill battle. She made the video, she posted it, she talked about why she posted it extensively on the internet to everyone, to the public, to the world. So trying to attack this indictment doesn't seem like the most successful route. Anyway, then there's path number three. If there's no plea deal and no successful motion to dismiss the indictment, then this case proceeds to discovery and eventually to trial. And you know, in my last video on this topic, I talked about how one of two things would probably happen here. Either she goes through some difficult character development and eventually decides to take a deal, or she digs in until the very end and almost certainly gets convicted with a harsher sentence. And so it seems like we are probably about to find out fairly soon which of those two paths she chooses. And I, for one, will be watching very closely. Until then, the way I see it, this could end up going either way, but at the moment, it looks like things are moving forward towards trial. In my opinion, her best move at this point is to take a plea deal if one is offered. Going to trial with this mountain of self-incriminating evidence just seems like a terribly losing strategy. But
seems very bad.
What do you think? Do you think she might take a plea deal and actually accept responsibility for what she did here? Or do you think that she's going to keep digging her heels in and take this all the way to trial? And do you think that she deserves prison time, or is probation the right call here? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this, or at least found it interesting or informative. And if you did, I would love it if you could hit the like button. It does help us with the YouTube algorithm gods. And if you need help with a real legal issue in your life, contact us at the Bites Law Group. Our website is linked in the description below. Now, something that can make a big difference in this case.
It's not going anywhere, right? All right, now we're gonna do this. Rebuilding Ferrari. I just want to show you this channel. Chef Joni is the channel. I'm into because it's 1 a.m. here, but here's the channel if you want to check it out. Can you rebuild a Ferrari with cheap
Ferrari
tools?
says you need thousands of
Harbor Freight
special tools to rebuild this drivetrain, but
this is the guy got his Ferrari all. I mean, he had some help from like some Italian sports car people and this, that, and the other, whatever. But he never once bought any of the stupid expensive tools. There's another channel called Matt Armstrong that is rebuilding a Bugatti. That literally the Bugatti to replace the structural support that goes between the engine and transmission. The front of the car and the back of the car have to be separated, and they're held together with like 13 titanium bolts or some shit. And Bugatti has this crazy machine. Hold on. Bugatti has this crazy $1 billion machine that they use to put the car back together when it's in their shop. Like, it's this fucking insane machine. I think it's this one that they use to put the two halves together. And they did it with dollies that you use for a fucking trash can, for like a shop trash can. They're like dollies that you put a big plastic trash can on to roll around the shop. Let me see if we can find this machine that they use to put their two halves together.
Absolutely leaked time.
And they're doing it, not with Harbor Freight tools, but still they're doing it. Let me skip around to see the two halves come together. It's like this whole building and room and shit they built just to put the two halves of the car together at Bugatti factory. Insane, dude. It's got like this place in the floor. You just had to see it to believe it. I know it's in part of this documentary. See, like the stands they got the car on? There's part of this documentary where they put the two halves together. I just don't remember where it is. Here it is. See these plates in the floor? Watch this.
Another. In the worst case, the construction would have to be taken apart again to adjust individual elements.
Look at this machine they built.
And now maneuver the 750-kilogram rear section to the monocoque.
And literally, a guy is doing it in his garage on trash can dollies. They're British, so they call it bin dollies or something like that. These that you put one of these big ass trash cans on. These wheels here. So look at the Bugatti machine.
The Iron Wave accompanies the rear section to its better half. The team gathers its strength again for the last few centimeters. The fact that the Chiron's chassis consists of two parts offers several advantages, so that the driver's cockpit is subsequently stable and therefore...
That's insane, right? That people are doing it with this. Right? That channel is the Matt Anderson, is that what I said? Matt Armstrong channel. And then there's the Chef Joni channel. Both those people are rebuilding supercars that the companies told them you can't do this. Bugatti said there's only 2 places in the world that we can put a car back together like you're trying to do. There's no way you can do it in your garage. They blocked them on Instagram and blocked them on YouTube for even trying. Like, that's wild, right? And they're doing it in their fucking garage. Check out this.
Ferrari says you need thousands.
This is the Matt Armstrong channel.
2 months ago,
his buddy wrecked it. They pull it apart in his fucking garage and put it back together. Like, that's insane, right?
locked off to the general. Oh, this piece right here. Yeah.
I don't know. They're cool channels. If I had a fucking wrecked supercar, this is the content I would 100% be making. Like, I can't not watch these videos. They're so fucking intriguing. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. Maybe one day we'll buy a wrecked supercar and try to rebuild it over the course of years, I guess, when I can save up the money. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. We'll see you about the next one. Have a good night. I'll keep you updated on the house. Send me some money if you want me to buy a house. If you don't want me to buy a house, don't send any money. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you about the next one. Have a good night. Love you. See you. Bye. I'm watching another channel of a guy who bought a, I think it's a Lambo, but one Lambo that burned up in a fire and another Lambo frame.
By name.
The fire was in the front, which the Lambo engine is in the back. The frame has everything, including the full wiring harness in it, and he's going to take those two and make a stripped down Frankenstein version of the car.
About to get lit, get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better.
Holy shit, is this true? Hold on. Hold on. Stop the music.
This catastrophe. And guys, I've been saying that from the very beginning. That has been my approach to how we...
Just listen for a second.
The United States is to just get out of the conflict, give Donald Trump a little pat on the back after he shits his britches, tell him he's a big boy, and next time he'll make it to the potty, we promise. the attorney because this war is absolutely psychotic, and we can't go 12 days without the entire narrative shifting from peace to full-scale war to back to peace to we won to we lost to the Strait of Hormuz is open, it's reclosed, back open, actually it's closed. Iran is firing on ships, and we're back to threatening.
This says Trump tried to nuke Iran, but was stopped by his generals.
Crimes and civilization wipeouts, as well as trying to use nukes. Man, whoa, it's wild out here. All in the span of about 48 hours as well. Pretty crazy, huh? And currently where we're at, yes, the Strait of Hormuz is completely closed. Our greatest ally broke the ceasefire about 1 hour into the new ceasefire Donald Trump talked about Friday. And then reports are coming in that Donald Trump tried to use nuclear weapons on Iran on Saturday and was stopped by General Kane. So, wow, lots.
No fucking way. We'll cover this tomorrow if somebody remind me. I mean, I'm sure they'll deny it. But this is the first time he's asked about nuking hurricanes or foreign countries. Trump is urged to move on to nuclear side. Trump wants you to know this. Did Trump just threaten to use nuclear weapons in Iran? Holy shit. We'll cover this tomorrow then. Thank you guys for joining us. Start the music back up. Let's do it. Remember where we parked, chat.
Shit. Piss 'em off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them beds, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. And they say that I'm a...
You're probably pretty safe living near CENTCOM, to be honest with you.
In a sixth sense for the stupid shit. Well, my true believer. Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like four in a thong.
You live near McDill, I guess?
Like he's King Kong, starving for attention. I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex.
Tim Apple? No way.
A retard in a vest climbing up.
Tim Apple was in for the long haul.
Did he get fucking superpowers? Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them beds, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit.
He's just not going to be CEO, right? He's still going to be one of the executive chairman or whatever.
Find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to...
You're good near CENTCOM. I wouldn't be worried.
I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped them to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa, wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. Wait, what are you doing? Stop. Hold on. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. This is my mom's an alcoholic. Give me a... Oh my God. Damn it. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them beds, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to...
Well, you know, Tim Apple tried to do the Apple self-driving car. You guys remember that? Project Titan. Apple Maps was kind of a fucking failure. I think he even had to publicly apologize for that.
All over, hands on his shoulders, they ringing his bell.
Apple Vision Pro is not doing nearly what they thought it would. The Siri updates were delayed and full of bugs. Profits haven't been what they should be, mostly because his support of Trump and the tariffs and shit. Yeah. Actually, the Siri shit is so bad that Apple is going to Google to fix their AI assistants and AI capabilities. They're no longer doing it in-house.
You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit.
Alright, you guys have a good night.
That stage is set. You better...
Let me see you, bye.
Cause you ain't seen nothing yet.
You don't have those.
I better hear some good news on the house tomorrow. I swear to God, I'm driving to wherever the home loan headquarters are.
Won't even give out your
and it's going to be